Type 2 if you can't. And like the stream either way. Ah, good. You can follow instructions. I'm glad of that. Sorry for the slightly insidious music. I suppose we should change beats slightly. If everyone is in attendance and eager to get started, like the stream right now anyway, because why not? Is the music too loud right now? I sure as hell hope not, because I have mostly muted it. If you still hear music, there may be a problem with your computer. But I suppose enough time has passed. Welcome once again. Oh, we got a welcome as a... Oh, Jeff, welcome back as a member. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another one of these lovely little videos. How's everyone doing tonight? Everyone doing all right? As best as we can, I imagine, given the world's in flux, everything is in disarray, and we know not what comes tomorrow. Sup, everyone. Welcome to another one of these videos. I hope everyone's doing all right, because thank you for being a member for 17. Oh wow, what's going on here? Is it dripping? Oh, hang on. What's with the spooky atmosphere? Just arbitrary choice. I just chose this song and this happened to be a little spooky. That's annoying. I think I spilled some water here. Some tea anyway. I gotta wipe some of that off. There we go. A little tea on my desk, no big deal. I'm not dripping anywhere. Should be alright. Yeah, no. Sorry for the delay there. Oh, wait, I forgot to update this. Oh, hang on a second. Let me fix the stream goals. My mistake there. Let me fix that real quick. It's still... I forgot to update it from last time. Alright, we'll miss a couple goals. That's fine. Reset. Yes. And save. Okay, so next Super Chat will reset properly. Until then, though, we got a lot to talk about today. It's been a very busy busy week, I should say. I was streaming last week. A lot's been going on. For some people, the new Super Mario Brothers movie is the top priority. We put out a new video that's done very well. I'm expecting to cross 100,000 watches within the night, possibly by morning. Though apparently the people who it was criticizing did not like it all that much. I got one message I want to share with you from the Bird site that I posted on Blue Sky. This is from... Who is this guy? Guy named Zuma Fan here. Had some fan mail I posted on Blue Sky here. I wanted to read it real quick. The quote says that he was on a stream with Kino Flex and the Backseater, a common critic of mine, both of them, reacting to your Nazi video when you mentioned Hitler's penis multiple times. Weird, and also the video was complete dog shit, and the message at the end was to kill Nazis. Completely unoriginal and actually psychopathic, if I'm being honest. I'm glad that my target audience liked the video. Completely nuts response, and not at all accurate to what the video was actually about, but hey, what are you gonna do? People don't like it, are going to twist the ideas regardless. I just thought it was funny. That was one of, I think, like 3 or 4 reaction streams I got this weekend. But we are back here to discuss the Kino Casino guys. Yep, Kino Flex, I believe. I debated him once on my channel before. Apparently did not like the Nazi video, which I can only imagine means, well, whatever it means. Who knows, really? That being said, though, Super Mario Brothers. Who in chat has seen Super Mario Brothers? Let me get a quick poll in chat here. Let's start a poll right here. Did you like Super Mario Galaxy, the movie? Yes or no? Let's find out. Chat, what do you think of Super Mario Galaxy, the movie, if you saw it? Because I have seen it. I have seen this movie. We may go over a couple spoilers for the film, but considering the kind of movie it is, it's kind of hard to spoil the film, really. It's not a whole... It's kind of the movie you expect it to be. Whatever you think happens, it probably happens. with a couple more Easter eggs here and there. Seeing it Sunday. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll be honest, I think I was more positive about it than a lot of my peers. A lot of people couldn't stand it. A lot of people did not like it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was about roughly on par with the first Mario film, which I don't think was particularly all that good either. But because it's a Smash movie. I feel like, having seen it, I would be shocked if they don't do a Smash Brothers movie. Like, I would be really stunned if they don't do a Smash movie. Who the... Is Brie Larson? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Brie Larson's a big deal in this world, but I digress. Yeah, it's basically a giant Nintendo commercial. That's the best way of putting it. I feel a lot of the more hardcore Mario fans are fine with that. They just want to see Mario on screen, Luigi on screen, Yoshi on screen, and that's all well and good.
At Jeff Pyatt 2K4 super chatted $2. The Star Fox movie lacked the princess promised.
There you go, there you go.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99. Ant smells horrible because my goat is unwashed.
Fair. I appreciate that.
At Angels Art and Gaming super chatted $5. I have not seen the movie yet. However, I do know certain parts about it, including cameos, which is going to contribute to a video I've been putting off.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. I mean, there's a lot of cameos in the movie. Most of which, I will say, are specifically isolated to a certain chunk in the middle. There's not as much as you think that spreads beyond that point. But there is a concentration of cameos that kind of are very prevalent in the center of the film during like a interplanetary, basically it's a big airport for spacecraft. They have all the cameos that they can fit there, as well as a few later on and a few before. There is one cameo not a lot of people have talked about where Little Mac shows up very briefly early on in the film. Like, I had like blink and you miss him kind of cameo.
At Campbellzilla super chatted $10. Not surprising, Illumination's Mario movies feel like commercials. Even from Despicable Me, they've always felt like the kind of animation you associate with commercials.
Yeah.
Soft, unmemorable, inoffensive.
Yeah, I remember there was that one Grubhub commercial that looks a lot like the Illumination style, I thought.
At JessISD3 add 12 super chatted $5. The first one, it was me and my friend at the theater. We were both stoned and it was just us two and a family of 10 in the theater and we were laughing.
Yeah, I imagine that's the best way of watching it with mushrooms on hand. I'm kidding.
At Mark M1575 super chatted $5. I'm actually surprised to see that Jester Bell hated the Mario Galaxy movie. Girl, do you like anything?
She likes nothing. What she likes is complaining. She loves complaining. Her brand is exclusively complaining about stuff. There's nothing else to it, for better or worse. And that's Jester Bell in a nutshell right there. But it seems to me like some grifters have begun to slowly soften on the film. Very slowly. That being said, though, I do have to discuss one of the most horrible, heinous grifter turns I've seen in a very long time. And, listen, this is serious. I have a very serious, very totally legitimate thing to show you all. It's very important. There was a recent major YouTuber turned grifter this past week. It was truly terrible. Unfortunately, I missed it because it happened the day after my my March 31st stream. Yes.
At Killa_nut9615 super chatted $4.99. Lots of hype moments and aura, but as a movie, pretty mid.
Exactly. I'm going to pause Super Chats real quick because this is a very important topic I want to discuss. A major YouTuber of about, how many subs? Well, this is the clip channel, but it was like a 800,000 sub channel. Made a right-wing turn into grifterdom this weekend. It was, as a matter of fact, it happened last Wednesday. You can check your calendars to see what day last Wednesday was. Truly horrible. A major YouTuber turned horrible grifter. I think we should shame this account and, well, criticize them horribly and make sure you know that day, that last Wednesday, check the calendar to see what day it was, this YouTuber became a heinous grifter. I am, of course, talking about Rin Penrose in this video.
Big day! It's a big day!
First off, Rin happened to become a wholly different person. Rinako Bellarose, apparently. Which I'm assuming is John VTuber's new identity online. Truly terrible stuff right here. Let's listen.
Because I'm graduating today. You didn't forget that, right? You didn't forget that, right? You didn't forget that the poor little Rinako is graduating tonight, right? You wouldn't do that? You wouldn't do that to me, would you? You know what? I can show you something else. Will you promise? Will you promise to donate if Rinako shows you something else?
Truly horrible.
Because, like, otherwise I'm not fucking doing it. But yeah, remember all those things we did, like that one stream? And that other stream? So you're really attached to me is the point, right? You're sad right now. You're excited, but you're also sad. But like in an excited way, which does lead you to reach for your wallet. It's all I'm saying. It wasn't easy to come to this decision to graduate. But I decided it was time to move on to bigger and better things. So, I'm gonna be starting a podcast, and we're gonna be talking about politics. Specifically, identity politics. What I'm saying is I'm gonna become a right-wing grifter. If anyone asks, it's not because my heart is in it, but it's really easy to make money when you stand for nothing. Listen, if you're unhappy about it, you can just wait a few years for the political climate to calm down, and then I'm just gonna flip-flop to the other side. Once again, it's really easy to make money if you stand for fucking nothing. I had my spine surgically removed. I've got all sorts of opinions. I'm gonna be really good at this. You're gonna be seeing my name everywhere soon. Let me give you a sneak preview. You should drink raw milk. You should drink unpasteurized milk. The pasteurization's actually bad for you. Did you know that? If your child can handle a little bit of, like, tuberculosis or whatever the fuck, then it's like, well, survival of the fittest, baby. Little Timmy probably wasn't gonna make it after all. You're just saving time at that point. And you know what? Don't get me started on vaccines. But I'm gonna get into that in my podcast, so please watch it. The first guest is gonna be my ex-girlfriend for no reason whatsoever. I've never cheated on anyone in my life. And, like, if people are suffering for, like, minimum wage, well, they're not me, so it's not my problem. You know.
Truly horrifying news. Truly terrible. Heartbreaking how he has descended into this terrible, terrible... I can't even pretend this is real. Okay, yeah. Yeah, obviously it's April Fool's. Okay, I'll stop. The joke's here. I think you get the joke. Yeah, no. So, it is as Rinako Bellarose here pointed out, it's very easy to say whatever you want when you believe in nothing. Truly the mighty have fallen. Let's Super Chat play real quick.
At 000 Agent 88 super chatted $2. Serious question about Rin Penrose. Who? Rin
Penrose is a VTuber. Pretty good VTuber, actually. All joking aside, Rin is actually very funny. Rin is very funny. This is their clip channel, so they have a lot of fun stuff here. They got some good stuff here. Rin's pretty entertaining. Anyway, moving back to this. We have a couple things I do want to talk about today. Some of which is goofy, some of which isn't. There is this article I found... Oh, Super Chat coming in.
At Arthur Clybourne writes super chatted $5. I've seen some of the grifters praising Melissa Benoist now too, as if they didn't totally hate on the Supergirl TV series when it came out.
You know, yeah, that's true. Let's find out something here. I want to see what they said about that back in the day. Supergirl TV reaction. Let's go with... Oh, I know. Let's see. Yes. 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 Where is... I'm trying to find an older... Hang on. Really? Huh. Okay, this is interesting. I found this by accident. This appears to be a quartering clip. Everyone, of course, knows the quartering. He is a channel that exists... He's a guy on the internet. And the quartering has a video I just found titled... Supergirl Backlash is Fake. Huh. Let's hear what the quartering has to say here.
We're live Monday through Thursday, 2 Eastern, Friday at 1 Eastern, wherever you're watching this. And you can always watch the VODs, but it's only a small section. We're live for 1 to 2 hours.
Live channel.
So there's a lot of stuff you miss, including uncensored stuff and all sorts of other fun. So make sure you subscribe or follow and tune in. There's a big...
This is the guy, by the way, who was banned from the Magic the Gathering tournaments for several years, until recently, because of his inappropriate behavior there. Also, Melanie Mack, I thought she left YouTube. I guess not. Let me mute the background music, by the way. Yeah, no. There's a combination of people who I'm like, this is not these are not people I would expect to be aligned with the title, The Supergirl Backlash is Fake. But I am curious what they have to say.
Big fake kerfuffle going on. They're running out this old chestnut again, Melanie. Supergirl is a movie that's coming out. DC's putting it out. No one asked for this movie. It's going to flop. Yep. Everyone knows that, right? Yep. But before it even comes out,
they take it for granted the movie's going to flop, but they haven't actually seen the movie yet. Who knows what it's going to do? Grifters notoriously are really bad at assuming what films will and will not flop. Very famously, Critical Drinker claimed that Superman the movie would never cross 600 million at the box office. It did in fact cross 600 million at the box office. The reality simply is that these people have no idea how the box office works or how audience interest works. But if they were not interested in discussing it, well, let me rephrase that. If they were so confident it would not succeed, they would not be talking about it. They would not be trying to capitalize on the audience that exists for this film because they would know inherently the film would flop. But they do. Therefore, it's hard to take anything they say seriously on this front.
There's 1,000 headlines about...
Yeah, chat. Guardians of... Borm99V. Guardians of the Galaxy is the movie Disney putting out. No one asked for it. It's going to flop. Yeah, people thought that Guardians of the Galaxy was going to flop as well. There have been very few genuine flops, and most of them are due to bad marketing. The newest trailer for Supergirl, I believe, has like 24 million, 26 million views on the trailer. Let me try and give you a good answer. Supergirl trailer. 1 week ago. Let's take a look at that. Okay. So here's the newest Supergirl trailer. This is just the main version of it on the DC Warner Brothers account. 25 million views in 7 days. It's number 3 on trending for movies.
At Mark M1575 super chatted $5. I'm seriously confused as to why grifters are so hellbent to see the DCU crash and burn. What did James Gunn do to these people?
Well, he's the current guy running DC. That's why. And because he's not Zack Snyder, who the Snyder fans wanted to make...
At Jopon super chatted $5. Speaking of April Fool's videos, I just did Critical Drinker style video. Difference is, I did it for a movie he would never review, Alien.
Yeah, never.
Love you, Ant.
Thanks. Yeah, he would never review something like Alien. Hell, he had to be dragged kicking and screaming to do Sinners. Because that breaks his entire messaging perspective. Anyway, Supergirl has 25 million views. It's trending up on the top of the movie charts on YouTube. People are interested in this film. Will it succeed at the box office? Well, who's to say? Trailer success does not always translate to success overall. But we'll see.
Oh, God, it's just so hard. Of course I'm scared, the Sar said. I want people to like me, but it's not in my control. She then said, it made me aware.
Okay, he's skipping ahead here. I wanted to cover this as well. There was an interview done with Milly Alcock. Is that how you say your name? Yeah, Milly Alcock. Where was the quote? It was a big news article that was posted. Let me get the article in full. So, a bunch of people here. Oh, Vanity Fair. I think it was the Vanity Fair article. So, yeah. So here's the question. So the question was, from Vanity Fair, I'm going to bring it up right here. Let's zoom in a little more. So here is the quote right here. From Vanity Fair. Has the famously fickle Game of Thrones fandom prepared Alcock for the inevitable backlash she'll face? It definitely made me aware that simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on. We have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies, she says. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself. And she goes on to say that filmmakers like Martin Scorsese and Ridley Scott have shared their misgivings about the superhero genre, but Alcock doesn't mind. I get it. They've been around for fucking ever, making phenomenal films. Not every film is for everyone. The beauty of art is that you can be selective. So, very simple so far. All she basically said was that she can't control what people say about her, that certain people aren't going to like her movie, and she's okay with that. She knows she can't control everyone's reactions, and she's fine with that. That is all she's said. And here's the thing. She's right. Like, simply correct. There is no ambiguity here. She is correct. She can't control what people think. And people do have a weird possessiveness about women's bodies. We know this because they've been doing it all this time since then. How many times people talked about freaking Snow White, about how what's her name's skin wasn't like exactly the shade of white that they wanted, you know? How many times have we heard about with Little Mermaid, how the mermaid shouldn't be black? How many times do you hear about Brie Larson? How many times do we hear back in the 2000s about all the celebrities who were going through the heroin chic body type, and people were still calling them fat? I remember someone pointing out recently Rachel Zegler, thank you. I remember recently someone showed me some tabloid journals, right? That I want to show you guys right now. Jessica Simpson tabloid 2000, roughly. Let's take a look at some of these. Oh, yeah, perfect. Accept. Here, let me bring this right here. Take a look at this. CoverGirl in the most infamous way, Jessica Simpson consumed early 2000s media with scandalous stories of infidelity, substance abuse, and weight struggles. What I want to show you specifically is what the tabloids considered fat. And it's a reason why I want to do that, because it is one of the most deeply disgusting and infuriating things I've ever seen the news media do. And this is when I was in middle school, right? This is what we grew up with, millennials. So, this is Jessica Simpson, I think the early 2000s. Newlywed, again, you know, Johnny Knoxville. Again, you know, listen, there's no... Would you say that she... Now, at this point in time, they were already body-shaming Jessica Simpson. This was too fat for 2000s media. This. Okay, let's keep going further. Who cares? Okay, body shaming. So yeah, this was deemed like when she came out on stage looking like this, the tabloids tore into her violently. Like they were ripping into her. Yeah, horribly so. Let me see if it was heinous. Let me see an actual tabloid to show an example. They didn't actually show any examples there. Here's an example. What are we looking for? I'm trying to find a good one here. Where's a good example? I'm trying to find a good one here. Some of them I can't even show because they're very inappropriate. But like... Yeah, basically like... Where's an example? Here's one. Cool. That's too small. Never mind. I'm trying to find a good... Okay, my search history is doomed. From all of this. Basically like... Instagram again. Glamour. Yeah. So here's... They take the most unflattering photos possible... And that was the ownership of women's bodies. This is an example of it right here. Very small visual, but that's the gist of it. Milly Alcock is responding to this tradition of tabloids demanding ownership of women's bodies and saying, yeah, I can't control what they say. Simple. Basic. Sophie Turner. Also, Sophie Turner, they've done the same thing with recently, where she's playing Lara Croft, and they've gone through every single possible unflattering photo of her to argue this is a case of, wow, she's unrealistic, she doesn't look like Lara Croft at all. How dare Hollywood try to destroy the beauty, the perfection of Lara Croft, the video game character, in live action, by having Sophie Turner, a relatively beautiful woman, play Lara Croft, who looks, by the way, perfect in the shots that are specifically designed to be seen of Lara Croft. So, also, by the way, for those curious, I just saw the news. For anyone panicking in the comments about the Iran situation, it appears that the United States and Iran have just agreed to a 2-week ceasefire. So I want everyone in chat just to, if you're worried about that, 2-week ceasefire. That's at least something, but not nearly enough, I think. I think there needs to be complete surrender at this point for this, or de-escalation, a complete stop to the violence. It's ridiculous. But as predicted, the taco continued to taco in the situation. Again, post your tacos in chat because it's very predictable. It is in fact Taco Tuesday again. Who could have seen this coming? Anyway, Lara Croft.
At Arthur Clybourne writes super chatted $5. My only issue with that show is that we're not getting more of The Legend of Lara Croft.
Yes, I agree. That show's awesome. I love that. That's the animated series, right? I really like that one quite a lot. That was really good. I dug that. But yeah, this is Lara Croft. This is exactly Lara Croft. But they're combing for photos like this right here. They're digging for photos. So this is so here's the thing. There were 2 photos. This is one that was staged, right? Let me bring it up. This is from the Critical Drinkers subreddit, by the way. I'm bringing this up. Let's see this right here. This is the Critical Drinkers subreddit. I know, it's toxic to be here too. It smells like stale vomit. Let's knock that down. All right, right here. Simple photo, right? Looks good. Looks like Lara Croft. Same kind of thing. Just different outfit from the games. Basic. The comments. She looks like a British police officer. Impossible. She has a gun and isn't wearing a pride badge or a hijab. This is the Drinkers audience. This is the audience. She isn't arresting someone over a meme either. A 1%, top 1% commenter on the Critical Drinker subreddit. She looks like she belongs in Resident Evil, apparently. Something tells me the picture in the classic suit was bait. And they keep posting, they posted, what is that AI? Is it the action? That looks like AI. It looks a little modified at least. Yeah, anyway. So, is the actress even charismatic? I guess we'll wait and see. It's like they're just going off on it. You know, another behind-the-scenes photo. This photo right here they posted. The first response, flat on all fronts. Looks like flat on all behinds as well. Definitely missing some polygons from the first one. You didn't have to kill her like that, LMAO. So she is fully covered, neck to toes. This shit looks ass. A picture of Kermit the Frog vomiting. In response to Sophie Turner in a uniform from the games. When Milly Alcock says that there's a certain audience who demands control over women's bodies, they were not joking. She was not joking because this is the people Critical Drinker and the Grifter friends all cater to. An audience of trash. So frankly, their opinions mean next to nothing. However, the Quartering, who caters to the same audience as Critical Drinker, believes firmly this film will flop. As all things with women in it will flop. Do I think Supergirl is going to be the best movie ever? No, I don't think that. But will it be fine? Yeah, exactly. I think it will.
That simply existing as a woman in this space is something that people have to comment on. we've become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. This is obviously a ridiculous, I mean,
it looks like damage control before the movie is even dropped. It's not sounding good.
So, as we just saw, with the audience you're marketing to, they demonstrate that they demand ownership over women's bodies. They talk about it all the time. But secondly, here's the reality of it all, very simply, to simply put it all. It's not damage control if it's responding to the words presented on screen. We have decades upon decades of proof that is how people act. Now, here's the other thing. Is it damage control? No. It's a question from a Vanity Fair article asking her about it. They also asked her if it bothers her if big directors like superheroes. And she said, not really. They can like what they like. If it was damage control, she'd be saying, I think that everyone's going to love Supergirl. She doesn't even mention Supergirl in this part of the trailer. It's a profile of her. At no point does she talk about the movie or anything like that. She talks about being in the public eye. So already, the grifters have taken this article drastically out of context. Also, damage control for what? The movie has had 8, supposedly, allegedly, has had 8 test screenings. Most films have between 3 to 15 test screenings. There have been reshoots done to add certain scenes, apparently of David Corenswet's Superman. Okay, they're adding in Superman. There's no indication that these are particularly big reshoots. Test screen results allegedly have been all right. Now, some are more positive than others, allegedly, but nothing has officially come out to the public yet. These same reports also said that Superman had okay to really good to really negative responses in test screenings. These same results also said that Fantastic Four had really good results. Consistently good results. These same test screenings also told Ridley Scott back in the 80s they couldn't figure out what was happening in Blade Runner, therefore you should add a voiceover. These same test screenings also told Jeffrey Katzenberg back in the late 80s that kids were a little distracted during the Part of Your World song from The Little Mermaid. And therefore, Katzenberg concluded we should cut it. I don't know how to tell you this. Test screens are no actual indication of the quality of a film. In fact, if anything, sometimes a film that gets very positive and very negative test screening results actually is usually a sign I look for, because that means the film is doing something very right and is actually isolating its audience, not appealing to everyone at once. And that usually means if you're part of that audience it appeals to, you're going to really like what's coming next. Alternatively, The Flash had great test screen results, and look how that turned out.
At Maryland 614 super chatted $5.01, the film will probably be fine. It won't make gangbusters, but watch as Grifters write off moderate success as failure.
I do think it's going to do all right. My best bet is between $400 and $500 million at the box office. Maybe
At
a little
Zypher
less.
8677 super chatted $2. Disney reshot 40% of Rogue One. People loved it.
Agreed. Almost 40% of Rogue One was reshot, and now it's regarded as one of the best films of the Disney Star Wars era. Agreed, exactly. What matters is not the reshoots. What matters is what ends up on screen. There have been rumors of multiple endings. Well, guess what? 28 Days Later had 5 different endings. It had 5 endings in total that were tested with audiences. And I think 4 of them were on the DVD, and then the one was the theatrical ending. 28 Days Later, amazing film. A lot of different endings. So I digress. The composer thing, maybe the difference. And also keep in mind, these test screens also don't have any special effects added in. So very often films are incomplete. So you're getting an action-heavy, special effects-heavy film That's incomplete.
At WC Wit super chatted $9.99. David F. Sandberg talked about the reality of test screenings in a YouTube video ages ago and why they can't be trusted,
Exactly.
but also how they can be useful.
Yeah, they can be very useful in the right stage of things, but they're not a guarantee of anything. The problem with grifters is that they assume any negative press means the end of the world. And they seem to have very short memories in terms of what happens previously.
At Maryland 614 super chatted
Great point here.
$5.01. Fun reminder. Test screenings gave us the theatrical cut of Suicide Squad.
Exactly.
It's the execs PPL should worry about.
Yep, the execs are usually the worst part. Again, Jeffrey Katzenberg. And I want to do a video on Howard Ashman for June, for obvious reasons at some point. But very famously, Jeffrey Katzenberg, when hearing feedback on a rough cut of Little Mermaid, thought the songs, especially A Part of Your World, were trash and should be cut. That they were a detraction from the film. Nowadays, people see the songs from Little Mermaid as some of the best parts of the film. So, there you go. Thankfully, Katzenberg got out of his own way when it came to Beauty and the Beast, which is, I think, Disney's greatest animated feature. But I digress. Back to this.
Good, which, I mean, and I liked the Superman movie. I liked it, I defended it. But
You did.
But this, there's just no way it was going to succeed whenever the Superman movie already didn't meet fan expectations with
If
performance.
Superman can't put you over,
Fan expectations. Well, what do you mean by that? Let's take a look at that for a second. Superman, right? Let's look. What fan expectations are we talking about here? So, IMDb. Let's look at that real quick. The IMDb score for Superman. Let's take a look at that real quick. Let's load that up. Load it, load it, load it, load it. Alright, let's open that up real quick. Rotten Tomatoes. We'll open that up next. Yes. Alright, make sure that's all good. Okay, so IMDb. Here we go. 7 out of 10, right? 7 out of 10. Pretty decent score. That's, look at this right here. We got solid 8s, solid 7s, a lot of 10s, a lot of 9s. General consensus appears to be it's between the, 10 to 7 range. That's good. Rotten Tomatoes. Popcornometer, 90%. So fans, 90%, pretty positive. Pretty positive. Let's look at a younger audience, the Gen Z crowd, right? They use Letterboxd more. Let's look at Letterboxd real quick, shall we? Letterboxd, we got right here. Superman has primarily a 3.8 out of 10. 3.8 out of 5. Mostly 4-star. A lot of 4.5, a lot of 5, some 3.5s. But again, that same kind of spread. 7 between lowest is on average is 7 out of 10, maybe 6, a few 6s, but mostly 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. A lot of positive reviews. So, who is it who doesn't like the movie? Those are normal people, That's Letterboxd especially. That's the normal score. And that's a pool of hundreds of thousands of submitted user reviews across different websites. Can there be overlap? Sure. But, what are you going to do? What's the audience that hates it? That's what I don't understand. I don't see it. I just don't see it outside of your little bubble. If you go outside and touch grass, you realize most people kind of like this movie.
Supergirl ain't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they already have their excuses, and it's just like, dude, it has nothing to do with her being a woman. The top grossing actors of all time are both women, Zoe Saldana and Scarlett Johansson.
Great example there of people who've been body shamed throughout their entire careers also, I might add.
At Blue Baron 6,858 super chatted $2. Hopefully the Supergirl Grifton not work this time.
I don't think it's going to. It's not really catching on all that much from what I've seen. Melanie Mack is very wrong in this sense, too, because The comments in question were purely about, is she ready for people to judge her? Again, let me bring the quote back up here. Has the famously fickle Game of Thrones fandom prepared Alcock for the inevitable backlash she faced?
At WC Wit super chatted $4.99. Superman only wasn't the biggest superhero movie of last year because K-pop Demon Hunters came out the same summer lol.
But even then, what's your metric for success? Don't forget, K-pop Demon Hunters was the big deal film, undeniably so, but it was also a different niche. K-pop Demon Hunter is ultimately a family film. Yeah, older teens, it's animated, but it's not live action. Secondly, K-pop Demon Hunters did not release in theaters until after its streaming window. And while it did make a lot of money there, it did not make nearly as much money as Superman because they only released it on Netflix. But it was one of the most viewed movies on Netflix. The release model is very different. They did not hate on K-pop Demon Hunters, though, because K-pop Demon Hunters was not something they were paying attention to. They didn't take it seriously. And so, it surprised them. They didn't expect it. In fact, to this day, I don't think they've even discussed K-pop Demon Hunters in nearly as much of a capacity as some other films they've discussed. Like, for example, Project Hail Mary. By the way, Project Hail Mary, great book. Project Hail Mary. Let me take a look at something real quick. Now, I'm going to look quickly on the Wikipedia page for this one. Just to get like a quick answer here. Project Hail Mary's budget is about $250 million. It is currently grossing $425 million. Now, at this present moment, the Critical Drinker is celebrating Project Hail Mary as a major success. It is, at this point, still not profitable. It's not profitable. Will it be a big hit? Yeah, of course it will. It's on its path to be a success financially. But it is not broken even yet. So, what's the problem here? Well, it hasn't broken even yet because it still hasn't grossed 2.5 times its budget, according to the normal standard vernacular of gauging things like that. Meanwhile, Superman had a very similar budget. In fact, it had slightly less of a budget and grossed more. At this point in time, Critical Drinker was saying Superman had failed. Simple reality is, reality doesn't matter. When did it come out? Was this its third week out? Anyway, I digress. So. What was I just talking about? Yeah, anyway. I got a little sidetracked there. Expect this.
Oops. Grossing actors of all time, and both of them have been in many action films. So it just doesn't add up.
Yeah, and they're like, I saw like some feminist rag was like, where would I find it? It was the Mary Sue. Here's like their title they run. The title they run is Geeks and Gamers Prove Milly Alcock's point about getting angry that a woman called out sexists. In this article, okay, there is not a single mention of Geeks and Gamers or what they did.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because it's not the same name. Quartering, you should know this, actually. You should know this. Geeks and Gamers is not spelled that way. Geeks and Gamers, I'm going to show you the Geeks and Gamers YouTube channel, so you know what I'm talking about here. Oh, they're live now. Cool. Geeks and Gamers has a plus. This is an and. Geeks plus Gamers. We call it Geeks and Gamers because that's the handle on the YouTube channel, but it's Geeks plus Gamers. That's the stylization of it. And what the SEO point is. Your mistake when responding to this quartering is that you looked at the title and went, Oh, it's Geeks and Gamers, like the YouTube channel who I know vaguely, who I work with all the time. So, you done fucked up. You done fucked up. Yeah, what are you going to do? Tuesday Made a Night. Oh, 2.9K watching. Congratulations for your continual attempts at the grift there, buddy. Is that AI? Is that AI Mario? That's disgusting.
At Shadowlance 8212 super chatted $10. Hey Ant, I hope you don't mind me coming here dropping a video idea.
No problem.
Basically a follow-up to the Marvel doesn't know what to do with MJ reviewing the Venom run-up to or with Death Spiral.
Already in the works. In fact, I should probably mention right now, the aim for Friday's video is a Venom video. Rather, a Black Suit Spider-Man video for this Friday. The original plan is to be delayed a week, but I do want to review the Al Ewing Venom run. I do want to just read it in general, because it's actually, like, I mean, let me rephrase that. I want to review it for the channel. I've already read it, like, casually, but I want to reread it again to give a more critical analysis as a complete work, because it's fantastic. It's a really good run. I mean, it's not the best Marvel has going on, but it's one of the better titles, I think. And it gets better and better, as opposed to, say, the disappointing Ultimate Spider-Man run, which I think got worse and worse as time went on, but I digress. Anyway.
Mark's point about getting angry that a woman called out sexists. In this article, okay, there is not a single mention of Geeks and Gamers or what they did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they don't actually mention Geeks and Gamers in the title, so
At Manic Preacher 1566 super chatted $6.62. CD crutches on blockbuster auteurs because he can't give an example in an average action narrative where a woman isn't a girl boss.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. He really can't. Honestly, like we point out with the Paramount video, he doesn't even know what David Ellison's done. He's hated on a bunch of David Ellison films. He did a review of Annihilation that I discovered in the process of making that video back in the day that was really, truly horrible. It was actually truly terrible, his review of Annihilation. Oh, yeah, no. Geeks Gamers' average views are down. They're really bad. Their live streams where their views really come in at, and 2.9K, okay, that's great. They get some views. They get regular views. Like, so, for example, their Tuesday main event shows, they get 33K. That's good for a stream. For a stream, it's excellent, but it's not just Geeks and Gamers. It's all their collective universe together, you know? It's all of it together. And these streams, yeah, they do all right. They go every day, basically, with their little streams. But that's the main source of traffic to their channel. You know, their average videos are not doing all that well. For the most part, anyway. Although I do want to talk about Mario in a second here, because I think this right here is a good point right here.
At WC Wit super chatted $4.99. Al Ewing still feels like an underrated creator despite having a success as big as Immortal Hulk under his belt.
I agree. People always count him out, but Immortal Hulk's one of the best Marvel comics of the last 10 years. Like, by a massive... Was it 10 years? It's even longer now, I think. Massive success. Absolutely fantastic. Yes. We are all aware today is Taco Tuesday, so take out your tacos if you have them. The taco continues to taco. Who is shocked? Yeah, the one below all in the Immortal Hulk. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I'm not going to go with this too long. I feel like quartering's really boring, and there's not much to chew on here, but let's keep going.
Or what they said.
Oh,
they literally just clickbaited it and said, Geeks and Gamers prove it. And then, literally nobody.
Quartering, I'm going to tell you this. Geeks and Gamers does not specifically mean the YouTube channel named Geeks Plus Gamers. It means you. You are who they're talking about, collectively, and the grifter sphere in general has proven that to be true. In fact, by virtue of you making this video, you are proving the Mary Sue correct. It is what it is, my friend.
There's not a single mention of what they said.
SEO optimize
Yes,
that?
they're just trying to SEO off it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh wow.
People are saying, oh, she's ugly. Blah, blah, blah. I don't think she's ugly. I mean, she's a little masculine looking. She's got that. She looks like a Skyrim character.
But people were praising her performance in House of Dragon.
I love that. She's like, I don't think she's ugly. I think she's masculine looking. Jesus Christ. It's like in the same sentence. You can't go a full thing without saying, I don't think she's ugly. She does look like a man, though. Jesus Christ, quartering. Oh my God. Like, it's like beyond parody. It really is. It's truly beyond parody. Also, she's adorable. She's an adorable actress. Really, really cute. And she was great in House of Dragons. I think she's better in House of Dragons than her adult counterpart, for being perfectly honest with you. Really good character, I think. Cancel the woke. yeah, exactly. Anyway.
And stuff. And speaking of like geeks and gamers, they loved House of Dragon. So this just isn't a valid title at all.
Oh, here they linked to a tweet. Hold on. This proves everything. All right.
Okay, here we go.
They linked to a tweet that has, and I quote, 0 likes, 0 comments, and
just
100
some
views.
Rando, Rackable. Okay, some redeem it.
Hang on. So you yourself failed to mention they linked right to Geeks and Gamers. Supergirl star Milly Alcock preemptively blamed sexism for backlash ahead of the film's release, echoes She-Hulk rhetoric. It definitely made me aware that simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on. What is it? The quote they took the entire quote out of context, talking about her experience on House of Dragons and applying it to Supergirl. Also, very interesting thing about She-Hulk. Did you hear it's Marvel's most successful show? Yeah.
At Manic Preacher 1566 super chatted $2.65. Gender is a spectrum.
Hell yeah.
All women are individuals.
Yeah. Identity's is a range of things, man.
At Shadowlance 8212 super chatted $5. Here is my taco take. Al Ewing did the impossible. He made Paul likable, where what happened last week didn't just feel like a plot point just for fans.
Yeah, it felt very effective, I think. No, so Miss Marvel is not the most successful. It's She-Hulk, apparently. And part of that has to do with She-Hulk's length. She-Hulk is longer, so it had more retention over the course of its entire scale of time. But apparently She-Hulk is one of, if not the most successful MCU show on Disney+. Which I'm not surprised by. It makes sense. People were talking about it. When She-Hulk was airing, it was a conversation. That's another one I might do a video on, She-Hulk, like a reevaluation of She-Hulk. I think that deserves a reappraisal at this point. I thought She-Hulk was fine. My big issue with She-Hulk, honestly, was the physicality of Jennifer. I thought they could have made her a lot bigger, personally. Whereas Ironheart said it, I have no idea. I liked Ironheart quite a lot. I thought it was a really good adaptation of the different comics, especially the later runs of Ironheart. But again, I felt the one thing with She-Hulk I wish we would have gotten was better effects. That I think would have done a lot of good. But and I think they could have gone a little bit racier. I think that's one thing. They could have played it more into the sex aspect of it. Because She-Hulk is a very sexual character from the comics. I think they could have played up her sex life a little bit more as a point of discussion, because the show almost was about it. But I think that would require a longer runtime, and it might require a bit more of a mature rating. And they did have a lot of talk about her relationships. Like, she has Daredevil go through the walk of shame out of her house. Yeah, and the ending was kind of weak, I thought. I thought the stuff with Kevin was fun, but I thought the last 5 minutes just weren't as effective as it could have been. Anyway. But yeah, Geek Games took the entire thing out of context. This is proof, ironically, that what they're saying is wrong. Because they're doing exactly what Milly Alcock said they do. So now we have demonstrable proof they did that. Let's bring in our favorite boy, everyone's favorite boy, the Critical Drinker. Everyone loves this asshole. And we have 2 videos from him now, it looks like. Super Mario Galaxy a review, and will Supergirl be a super flop? Now, what I find interesting is the video that he says Supergirl will be a super flop has almost 1 million views. Almost as if people are interested in Supergirl. In fact, I think it's just second to okay, well, then again, a lot of his videos have 1 million. Starfleet being canceled as over 1 million, but that's over 2 weeks. This is over the course of 6 days. A little different there, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at his 7-minute long Supergirl video. Now, of course, I should mention right now, I did see the Birdman's video, so I am going to echo some of the same points he had. I do want to say that right now up front because it's just, just to clear the air. It's gonna be a thing. So let's hear it. Let's take a look.
I hate to jinx it, but I do believe that 2026 has gotten off to a pretty good start so far. Yeah,
Super chat coming in. Oh god, attacking the bride again.
At Schmojo99 super chatted $5. I'm a little salty they skipped over the Planet Hulk, World War Hulk storyline with the
Agreed.
She-Hulk ending. I really enjoy those comics.
Yeah, I agree. They kind of mixed Planet Hulk into Thor Ragnarok. The one thing out of the MCU that bugs me is due to the licensing with Universal, the Hulk has not had his own solo stories. He's been morphed into other films.
At Mark
narratives.
M1575
This sucks.
super chatted $5. I've seen 3 reactions to Kara. I can fix her, I can make her worse, and she can break me.
I've seen a lot of that from lesbians, that last one especially. Anyway, but yeah, no. So is 2026 off to a good start? I would say yes. I'd say the year looks good so far. In terms of film, not in terms of the film industry. But then again, we also had Scream 7, which I have not seen yet, but I have heard nothing but negative things about. And it also had the release of there's a few other ones too that came out. I'm drawing a blank on them. There was one I was going to say that was particularly bad. What was it? Oh, that's right, the Mario film. That's a big point of controversy as well. The Bride, I think, unfortunately, underperformed. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But the year has been pretty good in terms of movies so far, I'd say.
there's been a few missteps along the way for sure, but shows like Night of the Seven Kingdoms and One Piece proved that there's still good TV being made, while
Drinker, why is your image of One Piece Nami in a bathing suit? And why is that? Huh. Interesting. Interesting choice there.
Project Hail Mary delivered an excellent science fiction adventure that wasn't tied to some long-running franchise and didn't treat its audience like complete morons.
Why do I feel like the only reason you're bringing that up is because you interviewed Andy Weir? Now, granted, Night of the Seven Kingdoms is a fantastic show. Project Hail Mary is a fantastic film. One Piece is a fantastic show. But somehow I have doubts that Critical Drinker has even seen One Piece the anime. Or read the manga for that matter. Especially considering he hates identity politics, and there is there are a couple characters in One Piece I feel like he would not like. Like, say, Yamato. Or what's her name in the Wano arc? Okiku. Yeah. Wouldn't like either of them for reasons I'm sure that anyone who's read the manga or seen the anime knows, but what are you going to do? Did Critical Drinker review the Bone Temple? I do not think he did. Let's take a look at that real quick. Did he review the Bone Temple, which was also this year? The Bride, he did not like it. Complaining about Cynthia Erivo for some reason. I don't know why. BAFTA's a video on The Exorcist. Really interesting. Star Trek, Ezra Miller, Star Trek, Grogu, Lord of the Rings, Iron Lung. Okay, well, there you go. I was going to do a video on this one at one point, but I chose not to. Star Trek. Oh, yeah, he did do a Bone Temple video and was surprised by it. Okay, that's fine. It was a good movie.
What's a novel idea? Then the other day I was reminded that, oh yeah, Supergirl's coming out soon. How best can I sum up my feelings about this movie? Well, you know when you go back to your hometown for the first time in years and you decide to meet up with some old high school buddies to reconnect?
Yep.
At Wyatt Ahmedin 5747 super chatted $5. Why is Critical Drinker the more popular grifter out of the bunch? He's just so boring. Maybe it was just
Yeah.
right place, right time for the algorithm?
Oh, that's one option, but I think there's another reason too. He is someone who is easy to listen to without believing you're a
At
bigot.
Blue Baron 6858 super chatted $2. Do you think the term girl boss will be retired soon?
I think it's already dead outside of this sphere right here. No one uses the term girl boss outside of that.
At Itsuboy
So I think it's
562 super chatted $3.14. Wish I got to see The Bride and Good Luck Have Fun Don't Die.
Yeah.
But so far my favorite film this year so far is Send Help. Thoughts if you've seen it?
I have not seen Send Help yet because unfortunately I have a son and that restricts my movie-going experiences. But I want to see it. I love Sam Raimi in general. I do also want to see Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. I've heard it's really fun. Also want to see The Bride. Looks like a fun movie as well. But I can wait to streaming on those. The reason I think that Will Jordan in particular is successful over others, because it's not just that he hit the algorithm at a certain time. Grifters in general, their numbers are depleting. There was a big controversy recently with the quartering where he actually brought this up. Yeah, a lot of grifters are struggling with views. They're lower now than they have been in some time. Percentage-wise, they're still getting good views in general on like a surface level basis. Like the numbers are still high, but they're not high in relation to where they've been. It's been a downward slope. The only exception, really, is Critical Drinker. And I think the reason why that is because Drinker occupies a nebulous middle ground. He is not so overtly offensive and problematic that it's obvious to a normie. He kind of hides in the gray area for some people. Now, granted, he's still a bigot. He's still very bigoted, overtly. But he's bigoted in a way that's like, I like to think of like acceptable white person bigoted, where like, if you heard this person talking at a bar, you wouldn't give him a second glance. But if you saw someone like Geeks and Gamers talking in a bar, you would actually be uncomfortable around them. He knows enough not to say things that normies would recognize as bigoted. Overtly so.
At Maryland 614 super chatted $5.01. Critical Drinker. The economy is tanking, war in the Middle East, and you're whining about Supergirl?
Yeah, exactly.
Complains about in La La Land.
The thing is, he's a movie channel. I get it, but still, it's ridiculous.
At Arthur Clybourne writes super chatted $5. My only media complaint about this year so far is that Netflix still has not renewed Gentry Chow vs. the Underworld for season 2.
Yeah. No, definitely. My big complaint. Hey, the Wave Runner. Thank you so much for becoming a member for 16 months. Movies you want to show to son when he's older. Oh, so many. Okay. I got some for you. There's a few movies I have on my list I want to show him. Obviously, there's the Disney films. I'll show him that as he's like, 2, 3 years old, whatever. Some of what he's shown him already. Some I really want to show him when he's older. I do want to show him Die Hard. That's like an essential one. A lot of older films I want to show him. I want to give him a perspective, like a healthy diet of history, with film. I want to show him some older ones that are still pretty good and kind of go into more esoteric ones as he gets older. I want to show him, some 80s films, of course. Big horror guy, I want to show him some of those scary movies. They're acceptable. I think I'd start him off like something like with Gremlins or something like that, which is a little more, like I grew up with Gremlins. I saw that when I was like 7 years old, so. There's, of course, I want to show, one I really want to, I'll show him Independence Day, some of the good action films from the 90s. Of course, we'll go international. We'll show him a lot of anime. I want to show him all the Miyazaki films. I want to show him, Ghost in the Shell when he's a little older,
At Wyatt Ahmedin
Godfather,
5747 super chatted $2. He's the I'm just asking questions.
Exactly.
guy.
That's it right there. He's just asking questions. Now, if we hear I'm just asking questions, you know what he's saying because you're smart. You've heard it all before. But the average person does not. They don't have the experience with these folks necessarily to go, this is bullshit. This is a grift. The average person takes it for granted that they're just asking questions. And they don't really think that much either.
At Olivia_Williams_purple_fairy super chatted $2. I personally grew up watching Aliens.
Oh, yeah, no, Aliens, absolutely, when he's older. Oh, Lord of the Rings. I gotta show him Lord of the Rings. And Star Wars, of course. Star Trek. I'd probably start him off with, like, the, honestly, I'd probably start him off with, the Star Trek, films that J.J. Abrams did, starting off with that. Like, I'd start him off with, the Kelvin timeline. I would also definitely show him, the original Star Trek trilogy of sorts, which is to say Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4, and then Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. That's a good, I guess that's 4 films, but still, a good solid cycle of movies.
At S-Han especially 04181 super chatted $10. Bring back Now She-Ra and the Princesses of Power now Netflix.
Netflix won't do it. I think what they're going to do is do a Tubi deal. I think what's going to happen is you're going to see it and Voltron on Tubi before long. That's where a lot of these animated shows are going that were kind of homeless for a while. So, there you go. Got him show him the whales, Ant. There be whales here. I love it. Yeah, no, that'd be great. Essentials. You got to have an essential diet of film. Planet of the Apes, absolutely. Of course, the superhero films. There's a lot. Anyway, let's keep going with this.
Over a few drinks, and
This
it
is a
all
little
starts
stupid.
out such as my attitude to James Gunn's
speaking for your
Supergirl,
sake.
which ironically enough isn't actually directed by James Gunn, but might as well be if the trailer
So he's been getting so much backlash about him insisting it's a James Gunn movie. He had to include that so he wouldn't keep pestering him about like saying it's not a James Gunn movie, it's a Craig Gillespie film, so I digress. Craig Gillespie, by the way, very talented director, a lot of stylistic choices similar to James Gunn. If you've seen Cruella, it's one of the better Disney live action films. If you've seen I, Tonya, it's a fantastic film. Here you go. Oh, Night of the Living Dead. Oh, well, listen. Talking horror. I'll tell you my horror plan, right? It's the general cycle. You got to build up to those movies. I saw Night of the Living Dead when I was like 11 years old. I'm planning on doing that with my son, too. Night of the Living Dead's a classic. Dawn of the Dead, masterpiece. But for me, my favorite of the Romero films is actually Day of the Dead. I love Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead's fantastic. I love, the claustrophobia of Day of the Dead. I love how he feels really post-apocalyptic. I love the tension between the scientists and the military guys so much. And, Colonel Rhodes is such an asshole. I love that. Great stuff.
At Manic Preacher 1566 super chatted
yes.
$6.62. Make him watch Royal Warriors with Michelle Yeoh. Grifter inoculation.
Oh, yeah, no. I think in terms of martial arts films, too, Hero might be good, too. Because Hero, you don't need to know what they're saying to follow the film. It's such a visual-first movie. I think Hero's fantastic. Cruella's very underrated, I think. Pete's Dragon. Yeah, Pete's Dragon I thought was underwhelming. I didn't like Pete's Dragon. A couple months ago, I had a movie night with my parents, just Godzilla -1. Made sure it was the black and white Japanese dub. My dad was a bit hesitant, but loved it. Yeah, no, Godzilla -1's fantastic. And of course, I've already shown him some Godzilla movies. He's only 6 months old. I've already shown him Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. I've shown him Godzilla vs. Mothra. One night I was revisiting New Empire with him, and he was like, he's like a baby, so he's not going to retain any
At
of that.
It's Your Boy 562 super chatted $3.14. Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride, and Coraline for peak children's horror, eventually.
All of those are going to be Halloween staples in the household, guaranteed. I think of all those three, my favorite is Night Before Christmas. I love that movie, but all agree.
trailers or anything
Kong Skull Island is fantastic. I love Kong Skull Island.
to go by. I'm not exactly dreading it. I don't think.
Oh, yeah, a couple more super chats going.
At WC Wit super chatted $1.99. People didn't get Cruella was odd on purpose.
Exactly.
At Ermanita Rules super chatted $4.99. Drinker will never watch Hong Kong cinema.
No.
Too many kick-ass women for his taste.
No way. He will not.
At Mark M
This is a funny story.
1575 super chatted $2. Introduce your son to One Piece.
So funny story about that.
Open mouth smile.
Funny story about that. My buddies, baby shower, right? My son is not born yet, getting gifts. one of the gifts was from some of my buddies. Their wives were at the party, our girlfriends, and they were like, "Listen, you gotta give Anthony, his son, this gift." And he brings this. They all bring this gift over, and it's the first omnibus of One Piece. And they said if you get him started now reading it, by the time he's like 10 years old, he might be reading just in time to finish up the big grand finale of One Piece. Yeah, freaking love that. Yeah, of course he's gonna read One Piece. You kidding? Absolutely. That, Dragon Ball, probably Naruto as well. My Hero.
At Maryland
Demon Slayer,
614
FMA.
super chatted $5.01 off topic. But since Hero was mentioned, what Shaw Bros film should Jean Luen Yang adapt as an Image, Dark Horse comic, and with which penciler?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'd have to think about that one. I'll get back to you on that one. That one. Oh, what did the Shaw Brothers do? Did they do Fist of Fury? Was that Shaw Brothers? I know they did the one crazy Tokusatsu one, who's a big red outfit. Oh God, what's that one's name? That one's wild. I like that one a lot. But the name of it, I'm losing the name of it. It was like a big Tokusatsu kind of Inframan. Yeah, Inframan. Do Inframan. If that hasn't been done yet, do that. That one's fucking bonkers. That would be fun to see someone take that one and do something crazy with it, because that's That one's nuts. Well, did the Shaw Brothers work on the Hammer Dracula one too? I forget. I know it's a Hong Kong co-production, but I forget if the Shaw Brothers were involved with that one. One-Armed Swordsman, that's a good one too. Yeah. The problem is I'd have to go through the Shaw Brothers filmography to get like a good, because they did so many. I forget which ones they did. Did they do a Chinese Ghost Story also? I forget if Shaw Brothers did that one. A Chinese Ghost Story was really fucking fun. That one's excellent. Let me look up to see who did that one. A Chinese Ghost Story. That one's great if you guys haven't seen that one. That one I saw a few years ago. Did Shaw Brothers work on this one? Is it even Hong Kong? No. Shaw Brothers were not involved with this one. Never mind. Okay, don't worry about this one. A Chinese Ghost Story, though, was awesome. I'm here. Let me go to the Shaw Brothers' full work, because they had a lot of movies. Yeah, there's so many Shaw Brothers films. Yep.
At Arthur Clybourne writes super chatted $2. Show your son Detective Conan as well.
Yeah, that's one that's one on the list. That's definitely on the list. There's actually a lot of these I have not seen. Now I'm looking at the full list, because there's a lot of, let me show you. I'm just looking on Wikipedia real quick for Shaw Brothers. There are so many of these films I've actually not seen. I've not seen a lot of these older 50s ones. For example, I've watched a lot, but not even a fraction. I thought I watched a good deal of them, but I guess not. Come Drink With Me. That's a good one. One-Armed Swordsman. That's right there. Cave of the Silken Web. I thought was good. Did I see the Black Falcon? That sounds familiar. Rape of the Sword. I think I've seen that one. Fire Girl. Sword of Swords. I probably have seen that one. As a few I've seen, I just forget the name of it. Is the problem. Wandering Swordsman. Place to Call Home. Vengeance. Lady with the Sword. Duel of Fists. There's a lot of good ones here. The Killer. Oh, The Killer was good. I remember that one. Yeah, it's more from the 70s on I've seen. That's ones I've seen. Delightful Forest. Things of Flower and Rain. Man of Iron, I think I saw. I think I've seen Five Fingers of Death, Fingers of Doom. I think I've seen one of those. Fugitive, I don't think I've seen that one. Blood Brothers, that sounds familiar. The Police Force, I feel like the Boxers, I think I know that. There's a lot of these I'm like, looking at these going like, I think I know these. I'm not sure. Super Inframan, that's the one. That's what I was thinking. That's the one they should adapt. Oh man, there's a lot of good ones. I'll go through you another time. But there's some good ones on here. Anyway. Yeah, so Shaw Brothers. Watch some Shaw Brothers. They're fantastic. Let me go back a second here.
Actually directed by James Gunn, but might as well be if the trailers are anything to go by. I'm not exactly dreading it. I don't think it's going to be 2 hours of my life that I'll desperately want back by the time the credits roll, but just like that disappointing night out with your old high school friends who turned into not particularly interesting adults, I just can't summon up any real enthusiasm for it. And it seems I'm not the only one. Reactions to this movie so far have been muted at best. Nobody
Wait here, listen to this part.
He seems especially fired up for this one, and who can blame them, really? James Gunn's DCU hasn't exactly bombarded us with quality entertainment to get excited about, and if the...
So, again, it's been fairly popular since then. Drinker goes to
At
specifics,
Manic
but...
Preacher 1566 super chatted $6.62, Mr. Vampire. This is great. Wait, is there actually a plot in this movie? Ah, who cares?
That's a lot of Shaw Brothers films, though. They don't have a particularly strong plot half the time. But yeah, no, Supergirl, by the way, again, 3 on trending. Drinker would not be making a video about Supergirl. That's almost 1 million views if no one cared.
At It's Your Boy 562 super chatted $6.27. Recommendation for both you and your kid too when you show him foreign films. A Korean film called Masquerade from 2012. Great acting and cinematography. Most underrated movie ever seen TBH.
Masquerade? Man, that's the list. I've not seen that one. I haven't even heard of that one, honestly. Korean 2012. Yeah, South Korean film. This looks pretty cool, actually. Yeah. 9th highest grossing South Korean film ever made. Okay, that sounds really cool. So it is very popular. I just haven't seen it. That's cool. Take a look at it. Looks fun. I'm down for that. Hell yeah. Thanks for the recommendation. I have not seen that one, so I'm down to see anything new. That sounds fun. I like that.
Behind the scenes reports of poor test screenings, multiple reshoots, and a revolving door of composers are accurate.
Oh, great. Yep.
At Maryland 614 super chatted $2. Invite accented cinema. Discuss Asian cinema stream.
Accented cinema is fantastic, but I feel like he would not be interested in talking to me. I feel like he is such a sophisticated, experienced critic, and I like goof around talking about silly stuff. I feel like I wouldn't be able to match him in terms of his knowledge of the genre. I feel like I'd hold him back from being able to give a good criticism on Asian cinema, because his expertise is fantastic, and he's watched some movies I have not even attempted to watch, like the Devilman live action. That movie is painful. But yeah, no, this is the thing I don't understand. He's saying, oh, James Gunn's DC is up to a terrible start. Meanwhile, Superman is one of the top grossing films of last year. As we saw before, generally well liked. Peacemaker, pretty well watched. Creature Commandos, again, for an animated feature, widely watched. And again, here's the big thing. Superman is the big name of DC, right? But James Gunn is not simply putting out Superman. He's putting out other stories because James Gunn loves his glup shittos. James Gunn is the king of glup shitto cinema. He loves making movies about weird little guys. The Suicide Squad is still one of the best DC films he's made. And it's still in canon to some extent with the DCU he's crafted. Yeah, exactly. Wave's right. So even Superman, he's like, oh yeah, Mr. Terrific's now here. Lanterns looks pretty decent, I think. And that's a Green Lantern story. So I don't think Supergirl is going to be as big a hit as Superman. It's also a lot cheaper than Superman. It's not a big budget film. It's a mid-budget blockbuster. So we're going to afford not to make the $600 million that the first one did. Simple.
Supergirl's turning into a bit of a clusterfuck. But I'll talk more about that shortly. Believe that. Not to worry though, because if there's one group of people
he loves this one image so fucking much.
You can always count on to turn a potentially bad PR situation into a fucking nightmare, it's actors.
You see, that's the thing I find funny. I'll save it to this comment.
At _Java_ 698 super chatted $5. These guys really have it out for the DCU, and it's freaking annoying.
Yeah, and the reason they have it out for it is because it's popular. DC right now is winning. In the war between Marvel and DC, it always flops back and forth. For a while, Marvel was the dominant force. DC now has the stronger market share. DC's projects are a lot more creatively interesting than Marvel's right now. The pendulum swings back and forth, back and forth. It always does. But right now, DC has the lead. Marvel will take it back eventually. They always do. But then again, DC always eventually takes the lead back. That's just the way it works. The big two go back and forth constantly. And that's one great thing about the marketplace right now. Each side pushes the other to innovate. When DC's doing good, Marvel has to try getting more creative. When Marvel's doing good, DC has to do something new. And DC is doing something new. Simply how it is. Gunn is doing fantastic work because the best projects from Marvel, from the MCU, came from James Gunn. Simple. And Paramount knows Gunn's doing good because they've outright said, we're not touching DC. DC's doing its thing, let them do their own thing. They're doing a good job. And everyone who can see the money knows it. Because DC is putting together, is playing smarter with their money. They're playing smarter. They're not putting as much money into each project, and thus get more of the return on top at the end.
At Jeff Pyatt 2K4 super chatted $2. I hope the owners of those clips claim his channel.
No, I don't hope that happens. No, that's not fair. Listen, Critical Drinker is allowed to spout his bullshit. He is not breaking the law for using clips in a transformative manner. Then we'd all be breaking the law. We'd all be pirates. And if we're all pirates, we can't hold each other accountable for piracy, can we? No. So he's allowed to do that. It's fair use.
At Aspiring 2 Storyteller super chatted $2. Gunn makes under-budget movies, which they like.
Exactly correct. Gunn is one of the only filmmakers working on modern Hollywood who knows how to go under budget.
At WC Wit super chatted $5. DC Comics. Comics are also doing super well right now. The Absolute books are selling faster than they can print them.
Exactly. They're doing fantastic. And here's the thing, too, that Critical Drinker keeps ignoring. Probably because he doesn't know it. Supergirl's plot was already finalized before they even got the script going. Because it's a close adaptation of Women of Tomorrow, the Tom King comic. And as much as I have issues with Tom King, and I do, it's a good comic. The plot isn't really deviating too far from that, which is also the problem, isn't it? The issues I hear about the Supergirl movie all stem from it being like the Tom King comic. Okay, there you go. All these reshoots that Drinker's about to mention, it's just adding more Superman into the story. That's about it. A bit more Superman. The film is still a lean, sub 2-hour film. That's excellent. I'm happy about that. Films don't need to be super long anymore. You can just go simple. Yeah, by the way, I really encourage people not to false copyright strike freaking Critical Drinker. Do not do that. That is horrible. Do not false copyright strike anyone. And don't encourage the big guys to strike channels that use their clips. That's a terrible precedent to set. This entire ecosystem is built on the backs of fair use, and I respect the hell out of fair use. I will not be the one who does. If someone else tries that, like say Lily Orchard, which she did do that with me, they will be met with the full brunt of internet negativity on their backs. A different CD. Anyway, back to this.
Yes.
In this case, the star of the show, Milly Alcock, who decided to put out the Supergirl fire with gasoline in a recent Variety interview where she declared, "It definitely made me aware that simply existing as a woman in..."
Again, here's the problem there. It has no reference to Supergirl. The quote is not about Supergirl. It's about her experience being involved in House of the Dragons. You even have the context right there.
And that space is something that people comment on. We've become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself.
What an odd thing to say.
I mean,
she answered a question the interviewer gave her. Like, That's the thing I find so bizarre. They're getting a lot of mileage out of this quote, but the quote doesn't make sense with their outrage. That's one reason why I think it's not really catching. The grifters are repeating it, but it's not catching outside of
At
that.
Arthur Clybourne writes super chatted $5. Honestly, I think all Marvel needs to do is take a step back and figure out their long-term plan.
Agreed. And I think they're doing that now because they got some good writers working on the X-Men movies now.
At It's Your Boy 562 super chatted $1.25. Much respect for promoting freedom of speech, man.
Oh, absolutely. There was a stream by a certain someone this weekend that was negative about me. They're allowed to say what they want. I'm not going to use any.
At Wyatt
anything to
Ahmedin
kind of stop any
5747
criticism.
super chatted $5. I'm hearing people talk about how Krem isn't an interesting villain in the movie, but he's not that interesting in the comic. It's not really about him.
Yeah, Krem's boring. As a villain in the comic, he's the weakest link because he's just really like an avenue to get the
At
plot
Mark
moving.
M 1575
It's really a
super
character like
chatted
Lex is.
$2. I hate the grifter tactic of using ugly frames.
Well, yeah, because you can see it's transparent. That's the thing. You recognize it for what it is. It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. It's a dumb fucking tactic to employ. And it's disgusting. And it's repulsive. And it's predictable. And you know exactly why they do it. Because they know that if they do this one thing, their sexist audience will react to it in a way that they find encouraging. But again, this line has nothing to do with Supergirl. It's not about stemming any fires, but they phrase it as such, and they know their audience will not check the source. As you heard, every single grifter so far we've listened to, from Geeks and Gamers, which we saw, I mentioned it too, to Quartering, to Critical Drinker, they're very selective with how they phrase it. They say it as though Milly Alcock is setting down the fires that are currently going on. They're rephrasing it the way it's negative to make it sound like she's reacting to some negative press. The reality simply is that she isn't. She's just talking. She's just yapping. She's answering a question. The reality simply is that they are taking her quote out of context to fit their narrative. Ironically, they're in fact doing the very thing that Milly Alcock said they do, which is very ironic, isn't it?
You're a female actress playing an established female character. It's not exactly a controversial casting choice. I don't think anyone was up in arms about a Supergirl movie getting made. On the contrary, the bigger problem here seems to be, well, apathy. People just don't seem to give much of a shit.
Okay, that's bullshit and you know it. Leading up to this fucking... Okay, let's bring in the big boys here. And by big boys, I mean making fun of John De La Ruse. Let's go to twitter.com real quick, shall we? All right, let's look at John De La Ruse's account right here. Everyone's favorite little wife beater, John De La Ruse. Let's take a look real quick. How far you think before we talk about? Here we go. Let's go right there. Gay Klingon, making fun of Star Trek. YouTube's ridiculous. I have 2 channels, same content style, same thumbnails. Okay, of course, being obsessive. Okay, whatever. Freyren. Trying to talk about YouTube stuff. John De La Ruse, ban female protagonists in nerd media. It's funny how these two keep coming up right here, isn't it? All right. Let's keep going here. Star Trek, complaining about Star Trek, complaining about Star Trek, complaining about Star Trek. Oh, that Brandon Sanderson, complaining about Star Trek. Here we go. Nothing in Supergirl trailer makes me want to see this movie. James Gunn's DC is so dead. Just repeating the same thing everyone else is saying. You've repeated enough times. Complain about women characters right here. Shaming Zendaya for playing Mary Jane. I'm sure it is nothing different about this particular MJ compared to the others at all. Alright, let's see what we got here. Apparently all women are bad. Serenity, complain about Serenity. Saying it's a right-wing movie. Titan AE, Expanse. Up, here we go. Here we go.
At the Waverner super chatted $5. Insult woman, she defends herself, act like she insulted fans. Unprompted, greater than use as justification to insult her more.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same cycle every time.
Every fucking time. They do the same thing. It's the same. Yeah, Wave, once you see it enough times, you get used to the pattern. You know it's a bullshit pattern because they do it at the same time every time.
At Ermanita Rules super chatted $4.99. Speaking of JDA, did you see him get royally roasted by TikTok user Starscream?
Yes, I did. JDA gets roasted every day because he sucks. So right here, this is hardly a list of everything that's bad in the Supergirl movie. It's not just Milly Alcock looking like a waif or trans dude in photos. It's the whole James Gunn slop experience. So he's just complaining about it constantly. He's complaining about all that. He says he complains initially when women appear in movies, as we saw before. He's saying, okay, I'm not going to. He's complaining about Critical Drinker, getting criticized by that. It's amazing how much better it looks like when it's Melissa Benoit instead of Milly Alcock, despite the fact that, you know, you complain about Milly Alcock too. Melissa Benoit. Point is that you are complaining about her appearance right here. You're proving it all correct repeatedly. So it's just doing it repeatedly again. The Mary Sue's amplifying narrative, Milly Alcock's victim nonsense with Supergirl. These studios are all about relentless marketing campaigns to make the political cause with their films fail. Agitating fans. What's about agitating fans about it? Again, it's the same problem every time. Same 5 things. Women's appearance, stepping on his face, women's appearance. This is what James Gunn wants Supergirl to be, blue-haired pronouns with Marxism, apparently. It's the same thing every single time. They don't change the pattern. They just repeat it over and over. Same thing again. Super slop. Going again, this is an example right here of a person who's not as restrictive.
At Arthur Clybourne writes super chatted $2. Yes, because the PS4 MJ was totally well received.
Yep. They didn't shame the face model at all whatsoever. Not once. So again, all of this is simply put the same bullshit every time. Critical Drinker's like, I don't see anyone complaining about it. Meanwhile, it's JDA, the same person you cite with Fandom Pulse constantly, is doing just that. The reason why Critical Drinker is the most successful of these grifters is because he is the most dishonest about what he actually means. He hides the most. He pretends this isn't happening. Meanwhile, he'll stream with guys who say the exact thing that he's saying don't happen. And then they follow his lead. Thing is, they'll speak first, then Drinker will say what will become the main marching orders, and then they all follow it. They fall in line because Drinker is the alpha male walking forward. So, there you go.
Shit, one way or the other.
He's out of line, but he's right.
However, I was curious about this strange turn of events, and so I did a little digging on the latest news around Supergirl, and well, I believe I understand the problem now.
Again, the article wasn't about... Fuck it, whatever. I don't have to repeat myself 15 times. We know the article's not about Supergirl specifically, about House of the Dragon. But, I digress. Yeah, it was, will this prepare you for being in Supergirl? The preparation, not the film itself. But let's now hear that Critical Drinker has no idea how test screenings work.
The first issue is the test screenings. According to World of Real, which generally has a solid track record on stuff like this, Supergirl has been screened at least 8 different times, more than any other studio film from the past decades. At least 3...
World of Real, a good track record. Let's find out. Let's look up Wolverine. Let's look on that. World of Real. World of Real. Let's see something here, shall we? Let's look up World of Real. Let's look up what they cite here. So World of Real, the place for alternative movie news. Let's not look at, let's look for rumors, shall we? Yearly top 10s. Not enough here. Okay. Can't find it.
At 000 Agent 88 super chatted $2.
Oh, thank you.
How many Zach Galifianakis clips does he have?
He has the same 5. He just only uses those. World of Real. So, again, it's a movie blog. There's some that's decent, some that's not. But a lot of the things that they're posting here are actually not originally from World of Real. They're reporting on other things other trades have mentioned. They do movie reviews, movie trailers. This again was not this was not something broken by World of Real right here. That the reboot got a new rewrite. Rewrite sounds awesome. Budget right here. The Michael Jackson film's up. Yeah, I will accept World of Real's perspective, but again, it's just a blog, you know? Now, let's take a look what they say.
3 different endings have been used so far, with the latest version running at about an hour and 50 minutes, which features a more prominent role for David Corenswet's Superman.
In other words, your standard reshoots, you know, your standard thing like that. That's not too unusual. A couple different endings used, and again, when they say endings used, it can sometimes be very minor. For example, sometimes the ending can just have one scene included, one bit not included. Does it work better like this or that? Nightmare on Elm Street, for example, had 5 endings filmed for the film. And then what was ultimately used was a kind of a combination of all 5, based on feedback from test screenings.
Now, call me crazy here, but it almost seems like they're trying to call in the big guns to prop up an IP that they know isn't going to stand on its own merits.
Or it's to add continuity between films. The thing is, people are going to ask when watching a Supergirl trailer, where's Superman? That's going to be inevitably what they ask. So yeah, adding more Superman to the movie, not a bad idea. Especially if it's going to be like background stuff, like say, adding scenes of Supergirl arriving on Earth and talking to Superman or establishing that relationship or what have you. It's not that unusual. It's not that strange. So what are you going to do?
According to the report, the reactions have been consistently mixed so far. Not disastrous, but not glowing either. Several sources mention...
Now that's interesting. That's a citation from the source. Let's take a look at that and see what the actual article says. Let's take a look. Let's go back to World of Real. Test screenings often give an early look at a film, but the version audiences see in theaters can be very different. Take Ryan Coogler's Sinners in late 2024. The cut shown there ran nearly 3 hours, lacked the opening expositorial monologue, skipped Sammy's return to the church, relied heavily on voiceover, and featured less prominent score.
At Manic Preacher 1566 super chatted $2.65. Rogue Elements needed test screenings.
Needed more than just that. Needed a new script.
At WC Wit super chatted $5. Mad Max Fury Road was tested over and over and always did terribly in those screenings. Yep. Then it got released.
Yep, exactly.
At Mark M 1575 super chatted $5. I'm honestly happy to see more soups after the whole DCEU mess.
Yep.
Still, I'm going to be there for Kara.
Oh, 100%. I'm excited to see more Superman. I'm happy about that. But yeah, no. So right there, it's like we already saw right there. Sinners got extensively test screened, had a lot of changes made. The whole film was re-edited in a much more drastic way than it sounds for Supergirl. And Sinners was fantastic. So what are you going to do? Many early scenes were later trimmed or removed entirely, which according to some I spoke to, improved pacing and tightened the first half of the film when they watched it again upon release. Test screenings can be beneficial in certain components. Supergirl has been tested. So, with all that in mind, what exactly is going on with Supergirl? I'm hesitant to dive into test screening chatter for this one. The film has been screening for months now, and from what I've been hearing, it continues to evolve with each cut. So, as we just saw in the first paragraph, a film can change a lot. Sinners went from over 3 hours, with heavy dialogue, a different opening entirely, to a narrower, more effective film at the end. Supergirl has reportedly test screened at least 8 times, more than I can recall for any other studio film this decade. Again, more than you can recall, you only know. There have been 3 different endings shown, with the latest attached to the last week's California screening. That cut reportedly runs around 1 hour and 50 minutes and includes additional Clark Kent/Superman scenes. The film has also gone through 3 composers, with Tom Holkenbrook, Junkie XL, no longer attached, and Claudia Sarn taking over scoring duties just 3 months before the film's release. The musical carousel began in December 2025, when Ramin Djawadi was originally announced. Okay, you want the truth? Reactions so far have been mixed. Not disastrous, but not glowing either. Milly Alcock's performance as Kara's Supergirl has been singled out as a major highlight. So again, why target her, you know? On the other hand, several sources mentioned the action sequences don't quite land, director Craig Gillespie doesn't seem to have a full grasp on them, and that the main villain, Krem, feels underwhelming. Reports from multiple screenings do indicate that Jason Momoa's Lobo makes a strong impression despite limited screen time. Tonally, the film is said to be darker and more character-driven than traditional superhero fare, leaning heavily into Kara's emotional trauma and moral ambiguity rather than lighthearted heroics. She's described as jaded and at times reckless. The use of music in the needle drops has been described as very reminiscent of Guardians of the Galaxy. The editing reportedly leans more into episodic planet-hopping structure. It almost plays like a space western. This film has been tested over 8 times, so I imagine it's either not good or Warner Brothers is really reworking for the perfect version, or maybe the truth lies somewhere in the middle. It's very hard to tell because the edit keeps changing from screen to screens. This is speculation on the author's part. This is fact. This is synopsis. This is the report on the screenings. Not disastrous, but not glowing. It's a okay test screenings. They've been changing some things around, the pacing, but as we saw with Sinners, it can change drastically. So I find it interesting how he highlights this specifically.
That the action sequences don't quite land, and that the main villain, Krem, feels underwhelming. For context, I should probably add that test screenings traditionally skew more positive than actual audience scores, because test audiences are usually excited just to be there. They're getting...
Drinker, what the fuck are you talking about? No, that's not how that works. Test screenings do not skew more positive than negative. Often because test screenings are often incomplete films. For blockbusters especially, you're talking about a movie that has a lot of CG in the budget, where the CG is incomplete. Where have you heard that test screenings are more positive? Yeah, also begs the question, why focus on Alcock when the problem is Krem, the bad guy? You even admit it yourself. The problem is action and Krem. And hey, with a film that's more special effects driven than not, the action sequence is not landing properly could be a factor of a lack of special effects. And maybe Craig Gillespie's action doesn't land. It could be that the reason the test screenings are negative is because the test audience wants the action and is not getting that. That's a fair point as well. Drinker's perspective is entirely editorialization. That has nothing to do with anything, really. Oh, sorry. Super chat coming in.
At Itsuboy 562 super chatted $1.25. Tell bro the past the blunt dudes had enough damn.
Seriously, that's ridiculous.
To see the movie for free way in advance of everyone else, and so they tend to be a bit more forgiving than paying customers would be.
No, actually, they're not. Again, test screenings very famously almost mangled the original Little Mermaid. When one girl looked distracted, Jeffrey Katzenberg saw that went, "We should cut out a part of your world." Drinker, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
In a nutshell then, a middling or even mildly positive test screening usually translates to a pretty bad end product.
Drinker, are you confusing cinema score with test screenings? Are you conflating the reactions typically seen with cinema scores with test screenings? Because that's opening day crowd. That's the only reason I can think what you're talking about makes any sense. You're just wrong.
Clearly the studio knows this too, which is why they've done so many test screenings with multiple cuts and at least 3 different endings, all in a desperate search for something that works.
However, here's the problem. The film continues to transform and be re-edited, but That has nothing to do with the reshoots. The reshoots just added more David Corenswet. For all we know, because we're not getting specific feedback from the test screenings, the big note can be, where's Superman? Better action. Villain lame. But Milly Alcock and Lobo don't seem to be big problems in the film.
Business, this is what we call fucking panic time. It's when you abandon any real pretense of a cohesive artistic vision and just start throwing shit at a wall in the hopes that something will stick.
Yet, that's not what they're doing. They just added more David Corenswet, and they're changing the ending up a little bit. It could be as simple as changing out a couple scenes, revising it. As we saw with Sinners, they make a whole new beginning.
At Arthur Clybourne writes super chatted $5. Wonder Woman had an underwhelming bad guy too.
Yeah.
It still rocked.
Agreed. Sometimes it's not about the villain, it's about the hero's journey.
At WC Wit super chatted $2. Mandy Clip. CD has played all them now.
I really should just get a bingo card for these Critical Drinker videos. Oh, is he going to play a Mandy clip? Oh, yep. Mark down his fucking Hangover 3 clip or whatever, you know.
It actually kind of reminds me of Brave New World, where they ended up shooting like 3 complete movies because they completely lost faith in what they were doing.
No, it's not at all like what they're doing. The reshoots
At
just
Mark
said Superman.
M1575 super chatted $2. Drinker, use different clips, you lazy bum.
Exactly. No, it's nothing like Brave New World. Brave New World was a much different beast because Brave New World completely revised the film. The problem is, Drinker has nothing to really compare this to. This really isn't that big a story. Test screenings have seen a film that's been edited slightly differently. Nothing in here is as drastic as the re-edits that Sinners had. But the different thing there is also that Les was probably writing on Sinners. Brave New World didn't change its plot based purely on test screening. It changed its plot because Marvel has a weird method with their films. The Disney brand often will make a film. The Disney brand will often make a film and revise it as they go. DC has a very different approach. The script is finalized. The script is there. It's just refining the script. There's no sense of drastic reshoots, just refilming it. The problem is that Drinker wants to turn this into Brave New World. The problem is he wants to revise it to be that kind of movie. But the reality is there's no evidence to indicate that. Rather, it sounds like a moderately okay action film, based on this particular feedback, assuming everything they say is accurate. And I've heard similar rumors in the past as well. Others have reported hearing, good, that it's fine, that's all right. And if it's a more character-driven thing, all the better.
And that doesn't exactly bode well. Then there's the soundtrack. With barely 3 months to go until release...
I'm going to be honest, I don't care about this point. Okay, they're changing the soundtrack. If they have enough time to finish the soundtrack, that's fine. John Carpenter made the soundtrack for Halloween in a couple of days. It's one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. If they can succeed, hell yeah, go for it.
Supergirl is now onto its throwing things together at the last minute. I mean, you kind of have to wonder what the point of a composer even is when you're talking about James Gunn's DCU by James Gunn. I'm willing to bet at least 90% of it will just be licensed pop tracks anyway, because that kind of thing is totally not played out after 10 years. So who even cares about...
Minor point, who cares? He complains about the stupidest things. A good needle drop can be fantastic, and there's always been needle drops in movies. If you want to complain about James Gunn using needle drops, you got to complain also about Adam Sandler movies using needle drops, because they do the same thing. It just happens to be that James Gunn's good at it. Again, yeah.
About the other 10%. Speaking of James Gunn's DCU by James Gunn, this is the other thing that's probably gonna count against Supergirl when it hits theaters. A movie like this would have done just fine if it had a strong DC brand in place to support it, but let's be honest, it does.
Why would that have any impact? Here's the thing I don't think you understand. Supergirl is an introductory film to the DC universe. It doesn't need a strong brand behind it because it's Superman. That's the brand.
At Bernard_CK super chatted $5. The only way to enjoy Drinker's content is to take a shot for every clip he recycles for all of his
Exactly.
vids.
Only option. Only option.
At Official Snoob super chatted $4.99. Reshoots and test screenings are not inherently bad. It's all about the motivation behind them and if producers take the wrong lessons from them.
Exactly. And I think with James Gunn behind the wheel, he'll know what to do. Ideally. But again, we'll see. I'm not saying Supergirl is going to be a masterpiece. I don't think it is. In fact, of all the main superhero films coming out this year, it's the one I have the least optimism for. I'm more optimistic about everything else. Is it still going to be good? Yeah, I think so. But I'm more interested in to see Clayface than I am to see Supergirl because Clayface is a horror film. Something I'm always eager to see more of. I love horror. So for me, I'm just more inclined to see Clayface. That's more my kind of film. Supergirl sounds exciting. I like the comic. I think it's going to be fun. Krem as a villain in the comic sucks, but they have Lobo added. And Lobo is a much cooler character than Krem. So they knew the issues with the comic and tried to balance it out. And by issues, I really mean issues when it comes to cinematic adaptation. The comic, no one's going to care that Krem's a bad villain because it's not centered on Krem. So it's just kind of underwhelming, this kind of response. It's very ineffective. But the focus on Milly Alcock is so interesting. Because Milly is across the board praise in the film. People keep saying she's really good as Supergirl. Which is not surprising because she's great in House of the Dragon too. So I just don't think that it's going to be significant. This discussion is not significant. But what makes it all the stranger, and I'm going to stop with Critical Drinker, is he's going to talk about like the DC brand and complain about Peacemaker and Creature Commandos and all that. Okay, the brand's just kicking off. Let's just chill a second. But what is very... And of course, when he talks about the DC brand, he ignores the Suicide Squad, which I think is a mistake on his part because that's part of the DC brand currently. But what's so interesting is at the same time, we're seeing a different reaction to a different set of characters. Specifically, the quote-unquote redemption of Brie Larson.
At Wyatt Ahmedin 5747 super chatted $5. He spams, by James Gunn, as much as he spams hangover clips.
Exactly. He does. He does. However, I think it's time for us to switch gears. Now, I'm going to run to the toiletries for a second real quick, but when I come back, we're going to see how a set of grifters have argued that recently we've seen the quote-unquote redemption arc of Brie Larson. Oh, here we go.
At Aspiring 2 Storyteller super chatted $2. Milly has the charisma and skill to carry the film.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Anyway, let's I'm gonna put you on the wait screen for a second. I will be right back. Okay, I've returned. Hope you guys didn't run away when I was gone. Let me just bring this back 1 second. Let me pause the music here real quick. Alright, we're back. Okay, cool. Who's left? Probably half people here. Went to go grab some hydration for a second there. Yeah, we got lots of good chunky people. We'll come back eventually. So, we come now to part 2 of our little stream. Oh, Super Chat coming in.
At Itsuboy 562 super chatted $3.14. Ignoring the Suicide Squad with James Gunn is like talking about Taika Waititi and ignoring Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, 100%. And it's funny how often they ignore that with Taika Waititi also. Okay, so the video that really sparked this discussion is our good old friend Shadiversity again. I'm sorry, Night's Watch. Shad, first of his name. Of course, there's been some interesting commentary here. But one thing that's interesting right now is Shad did a video titled, Has Brie Larson Redeemed Herself? Other Celebrities Have Not. And this video got a lot of flack on the spheres of the internet I'm on. And I kind of want to watch it. Because I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because we see this kind of parallel between actors. So often, they are blamed for the failures or success of the films. This is not Templar. This is Shadiversity. This is, Shadiversity, the guy who wrote the book I was talking about recently. Yeah, so here we go. So, in case you forgot, Shadiversity had a very famous reaction to the Mario Brothers movie previously.
At Maryland 614 super chatted $2. Wait, music was very SNL waltz in D and...
Oh, good. I'm glad. There's some fun stuff there. I don't know what was playing. I just clicked a random track on my library of public domain songs. Anyway, so Shadiversity very famously had a reaction to the Mario Brothers movie that Jack Saint very famously responded to. That it was Princess Peach wearing pants and all that. It was wild stuff. Shad here has some comments on Brie Larson. Those who don't remember, Brie Larson was heavily criticized upon the release of Captain Marvel. She made some comments about there needing to be more room for diverse critics, because at the time especially, the critics that reviewed movies were predominantly white. And she pointed out, if I'm going to see a movie with targeted towards young black girls, I don't really care what an old white man's perspective is. Is the younger black female audience going to like it? In that case, she specifically was talking about A Wrinkle in Time. So we're going to see what the people who want to see the movie are going to think of it. And so people got really mad at Brie Larson, especially because it was right before the release of Captain Marvel. Sound familiar? I recall a few months back, we interrogated the Tactical Templar, who was also adamant that Brie Larson was a failure, a wash-up, that she was terrible, that she was the worst, this, that, and the third. So, there you go. It's time for Sabrina Carpenter's favorite thing to make fun of, Manchild. Don't tarnish my memory of Manchild with Shadiversity. That was an adorable word for it. Chad is not... no, gross. So, let's see what Chad has to say in this somewhat controversial video online that didn't get any views, apparently, on Night's Watch.
The new Mario film.
Okay, so, record here. We got Mike S. Miller, the rejected comics gay artist who worked on Game of Thrones, as well as familiar op to the channel, Literature Devil. Yeah, Literature Devil's back involved in this conversation again. I bet you forgot Literature Devil existed. I didn't. I didn't forget about you, buddy. By the way, I do believe, Lit Devil, that we're actually very close in terms of subscriber count now. Isn't that right? Let me bring this up real quick. Literature Devil. Sorry, here you go.
At Ameriasia 3987 super chatted $2.72. Hey, I watch your channel sometimes and you're great.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's really kind of you to say. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. So Literature Devil is back here after his last video was actually one of his last videos. The last one anyone watched was him criticizing me. So it seems only fitting we come back to Literature Devil once again to criticize him. And it is indeed Literature Devil. Here's the proof right there. He's right.
At WC Wit super chatted $5. Is that white guy using the Imperial Japanese flag as his background? WTF?
Yes, but Mike S. Miller, to his credit, is he part Japanese or is he part? Let me find out. Mike X. Miller. He is, I believe, he's a Hawaiian, so he's Native Hawaiian American. So he is American, but he's not necessarily white. He has worked for Marvel Comics and DC. He worked on the Injustice comic. So it seems just kind of sad that he went from working on Injustice to slumming it out with Shadiversity. And Literature Devil, apparently, who uses AI art in his comic. He insists he doesn't, but I do not believe him for a second.
And Verbal Riot, been on a number of streams with him, is a fun guy. He says, Brie Larson had a come to Jesus moment with her career, and I'm here for it. And he posted this clip.
To be fair, a lot of celebrities today are doing that. They're like, they've come to learn that just being really, really cringe about their political views and stuff like that.
Oh, he lost Mike S. Miller. Great. Okay, cool. So just him and Lit Devil.
Not a good idea.
Okay, so Lit Devil, let's first see what this come to Jesus moment is before we get caught up in this. What happened to Cyberfrog Comics, Skyver? So Ethan Van Skyver, one of the big figures of Comicsgate, he did eventually put out his comic, but many of his backers never got the comic because Skyver did not know how to actually distribute it properly. Supposedly he's on the 3rd issue of it after a decade of working on this thing. And it's still not out yet as far as I know.
We lost Mike. He's disappeared. Hopefully he'll come back. It looked like he was stuttering. Yes and no, Lit Dev. I agree, but there are also other celebrities that do not get it.
Some have it. Like a lot of them have it, but there's a growing trend. A growing trend of celebrities going, you know what? I'm just here to act. I'm just here to do my job. I don't really want to comment on this stuff.
Yeah. Last week, I think.
What are you talking about? Well, give an example of this. Also, Brie Larson, just because she was talking about Mario, doesn't actually have anything. That's what I don't understand here. What are you talking about? The problem with this whole thing is that they're going, oh, Brie Larson didn't talk about politics in this one thing, therefore she's changed. But like, Brie Larson doesn't really talk about politics all that much. She gave a couple of speeches. She's talked a lot about female empowerment. But she has other things she talks about other than politics. Like Nintendo, which she's been talking about obsessively since the 2017s.
At Arthur Clybourne writes super chatted $2. They're calling out others for political cringe?
Oh yeah. That's the thing that's so ironic here. They can't be political, but we can. That's the message here. And again, don't forget, we're talking about an era where a lot of people have been blacklisted, essentially. In fact, I saw recently a commentary from, what's her name? Oh, Kate Beckinsale. Kate Beckinsale did a public call out of Mark Ruffalo. Not because of politics necessarily, but because Mark Ruffalo can say what he wants and still have a job, whereas Kate Beckinsale and Susan Sarandon, for their policies, when they said basically the same thing Mark Ruffalo did, they were basically kicked out of projects. So it's very, and of course, Melissa Barrera. That's the thing too that's so funny. Melissa Barrera made her politics known, and received massive support from the horror community for that, because she was fired from Scream because of that. Shad seems specifically focused on Brie Larson, probably because the pool of actors that he and Lit Devil know is very limited. I don't think they've seen Scream. I don't think they know anything about Melissa Barrera or what she's talking about, nor have they seen the reaction the horror community has had for Barrera's statements. Nor do they see Jenna Ortega basically take one for the team and back off the project because of what happened with Melissa Barrera. So, there I digress. Hell, Nick Cannon just talked out of his ass recently about his political opinions. It was ass, but that's still a political opinion. And you won't see anything about... You don't see anything on any of these guys' channels about Nick Cannon talking about what he said. Because they want to maintain the illusion that the right is oppressed at all times. Apparently.
We covered... it was last week or the week before. We covered the actress who played in the Hunger Games. I forget her name. Basically,
Jennifer Lawrence. Okay, I can't make fun of Shad for forgetting Jennifer Lawrence's name. I forget names all the time too.
Saying effectively that she doesn't want to divide people, though her one was had ulterior kind of layers to it, because she was like, I want to manipulate people with my art, not turn them off my art with my divisive political statements. It's like, oh, so you just want to brainwash people subtly without them knowing instead of being overt about it. Okay.
I want to get...
As much as I want to make fun of Shad for this one, he's actually not entirely wrong, necessarily. Because Jennifer Lawrence's statement was kind of like, I want people to come to the theater so I can impact them with my art. That's the gist of the quote. But he's not really talking out of experience, and we've caught Shad in lies before. So again, highly manipulative, but also there's a whole discussion right now about actors talking politically. There just isn't the same metric for what he's talking about. No, it's not there.
Get them in seats so I can manipulate them with my stuff. I don't want to jump away before they get here. That's
exactly. So I was like, yeah, I don't think she's particularly sincere about it. But we will see, because wokeness in media is still around.
But here's the thing, though, like they're so smug, Shad. They were so smug for so many years. They felt like they're untouchable. They felt like they could say that, oh, if you don't like my stuff, don't come watch my movie. Men disinvited from watching my movie. It turns out they do want our business.
Yes.
The famous, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. And then we took their advice, and they're like, wait a minute, we're not making money. No one's coming to see our movies.
We really need that money.
Like, okay.
I mean, let's be fair here, though. They still made money. You know what I mean? Like, these guys still made money. Just because the problem is that Lich Devil's talking again about Kelly Sue DeConnick, who is still working, still has a job, whereas Mike S. Miller does not have a job. He's working independently. After working with with DC and Marvel for so long, he is no longer there. Lit Devil, his channel, I mean, clearly he's bringing in viewers. Clearly, 4,000, 8,000. Oh, this guy you argued against, 46,000 views. Who's that guy you argued with who rebutted you? Listen, nothing to do with smugness. Most people weren't being smug at all. But you highlight 2 or 3 voices that you perceive as smug, and you act as though every single actor ever was like that. The reality is simply this. Disney, because that's the only company you seem to understand as any public image at all, has always, from the start of it, done what they had to do to make money. That's the reality of it. Sorry, that's life.
I'm going to shut up now. You guys come see my movie. I'm sorry I said those words. I'm sorry I said screw your freedom. Please come see my movie.
Artie.
Please come see my movie.
Exactly. Well, this is why, like, this, You've heard about the new Lord of the Rings project with Stephen Colbert writing.
Like of all people, why Stephen Colbert? Like people have said that okay, maybe he is an expert in Tolkien, but I think he squandered his right to work on it when he sold everyone the vaccine and stuff.
Not only that, he was hosting
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
What was it? It was the Golden Globes or some weird.
What does vaccination have anything to do with Lord of the Rings? Like what is okay? What stupid point did you just fucking make? Yeah, he's in The Hobbit. Yeah, Wave, you're right. He's in The Hobbit. He played like a little cameo in The Hobbit. The guy is a Tolkien scholar. He has forgotten more about Tolkien than most people ever learn. Also, he's not the only writer on staff. Also, I think it's like him, his son, and someone else who are writing the script. Also, like, what does vaccines have anything to do with what we're talking about? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Olivia _Williams_purple_fairy super chatted $2. This is outright murderous.
It is. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? I mean, listen, Stephen Colbert has been up in the ratings because he's been sticking it to CBS. If you want to talk about celebrities talking politics, Stephen Colbert is a great example of how speaking your mind can actually benefit you. Like, what delusional landscape are you talking about? Yeah, Shad doesn't believe in vaccines. What are you talking about?
A show, right? Awards show. And he literally said, leading up to it, Trump supporters not invited.
Yeah, raging TDS. I don't like it. Sure, maybe you're knowledgeable on it, but you're so biased that it just counteracts your knowledge of
what does Donald Trump have to do with Tolkien? Let's be honest. Let's take a step back here, all joking aside. What the fuck does your opinion on Donald Trump have to do with your skills writing a script about Lord of the Rings? A world where Donald Trump does not exist. How does that bias have any influence on anything whatsoever? Like, what influence does it have on anything? This is such a nothing point. This is like Walter from Big Lebowski bringing up Vietnam every time. There is no fucking connection. That's the reality of it. You're just fucking yapping. Further, are you under the impression that Brie Larson likes Donald Trump either? Like, really, think about it. Are you under the impression that Brie Larson's a Republican? Come on.
That tells us everything we need to know about this guy, right? He does not want anyone of an alternate political perspective, especially if you support Trump, to watch anything that he is involved in. This new Lord of the Rings project, he does not want you, if you're a conservative, especially if you support Trump, he does not want you to watch his project. And if he says otherwise, that is for everyone, that's bullcrap. He's lying because he knows it'll hurt the bottom line and he just wants to make more money.
Even that doesn't even align with what you just were talking about. Okay, so this is why these two are falling off in views. They're fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Like, on top of being crazy, they're also stupid.
At Olivia _Williams_purple_fairy super chatted $2. The bootlicking of Trump is staggering.
Oh, yeah, no. This is why I love watching this guy. He's just too stupid. Yeah, also exactly in chat. Yeah. What about Sydney Sweeney there, Shad? Lit Devil, what happened to Sydney Sweeney? Where were you guys when Sydney Sweeney needed you? You know? Because I think I recall Sydney Sweeney kind of, going to you guys for her views.
At
and none
Eshan
of you showed
especially
up.
04181 super chatted $5. I read, watch Lord of the Rings to escape from the orange idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
At Maryland 614 super chatted $2. Chuds, just go watch Daily Wire movies.
Well, they don't go that.
Yeesh.
Yeah, they don't do that either though. They don't go see anything. You kidding? That's the thing. So I think it's so funny. They don't go to watch these movies. They don't see any of them. Sydney Sweeney had one of the biggest flops of 2025. And she catered almost exclusively at the end to a conservative audience. And not a single one of these guys went to see it. Not a damn one. Chrissy, was it? You didn't fucking see Chrissy. Didn't go and watch it. Didn't even try. Didn't even bother looking up where the showtimes were. Conservative audiences love to say they're being kept out of these spaces, but the reality simply is this. They don't show up to the movies. They don't fucking watch them. So who cares if they show? You're not going to pay your money to watch it anyway.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99. Pretty girls are awesome. Why are these guys so mad?
Because they hate women, I guess. At a certain point, you got to ask the question, if it's only women they're angry at every time, all the time, or people who are overtly political, then who cares? For example, Mark Ruffalo, very political actor. If these guys refuse to go see Spider-Man because of Mark Ruffalo, okay. It's a drop in the ocean. Spider-Man is going to be extremely popular, and your protest money won't matter whatsoever. Back to this.
They've been masked off about this. We know what they actually think about us, especially Stephen Colbert, the divisive lying snake, right? The political propagandist that he is.
You fired him. You fired him from his talk show because of his political opinions. Once someone has been spit in the face for their politics already, they don't give a fuck what you have to say. You ate into his money. You shot him in the wallet. At a certain point, why would anyone want to censor themselves if they have nothing left to lose but all the things to gain by aligning more tightly to a larger political audience? I mean, the reality is he's jealous of Stephen Colbert, right? Shad fancies himself a writer. He imagines himself as a great writer of fantasy. And because he imagined himself a great writer of fantasy, the prospect of Stephen Colbert writing a dream project, getting to accomplish his dreams, pisses him off. It hits him right in the nerd heart that he has so dearly. Stabs him in it, pierces the flesh, and twists the knife. For him, Colbert is living a dream he wishes he could live. And it's fucking painful, like an ulcer that's searing in his heart.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99. Disliking women this much is closeted behavior NGL.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of these people love talking about men, love looking at men, but they hate women apparently, so,
And so if he ever says like, oh yeah, this is going to be bullcrap, this is not for everyone. He hates people that support Trump and are of the alternate political perspective, and he does not want people who support Trump to do it. And anything he's involved with, like any.
Look, listen, Shad, I hate to tell you this. Most people don't like Trump supporters. Right now, especially, people are not fond of them. I'm sorry. That's the reality you're dealing with.
At Eustace Giwo super chatted $5. Daily Wire Films. Now 3 days without an onset accident, but still 0 days without being designated a form of torture under the Geneva Convention.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so Jonathan Majors, you guys hear about this? The window accident with Jonathan Majors' film? He fell through a window, and the Daily Wire staff and crew working on the film walked. And apparently the Daily Wire is like, we don't negotiate with communists, but like it's basic OSHA violations that they're committing, and the film set is unsafe. And apparently they wanted to film in a set encroached with black mold that even stepping into would be a toxic hazard to the actors. And Daily Wire is like, oh, we can film here. It's cheap. It'll bring costs down. What could go wrong? Filming in black mold, having your actors and staff breathe it in, disturbing the black mold spores so they can fly up into your nose and cause permanent damage to your fucking respiratory system. Yeah, no, that's a great idea, Daily Wire. They're proving themselves day in and day out that they're not exactly all that great a source. By the way, Shad, here's a question for you. Where were you when the Pendragon cycle dropped, Shad? Weren't you? Why weren't you celebrating that work? Why weren't you praising it, promoting it? Why weren't you promoting conservative art in the process? Where were you when Chrissy came out and Sydney Sweeney needed your promotion, needed your money? Did you sit home? Because I'll tell you this right now, Sydney Sweeney told the left audience they were not welcome due to her eugenics talk, and the left did not show up to the lesbian boxing movie.
At WC Wit super chatted $5. Calling people like this secretly gay is lame actually.
I agree.
Because it still treats gayness itself as the punchline.
That's a fair point too. You're not wrong. That's a fair point. I agree with you on that one.
At super chatted $4.99. A big reason Shadiversity isn't treated as seriously as the critical drinker is probably because the internet treats Shad like a follow these days.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, he's a clown. He follows the crowd. He shows up on those Friday Night Tights streams, and he's like the extra character there. But that's about it.
At Olivia_Williams_purple_fairy super chatted $5.01. Black mold make people into TERF conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's a strategic decision from Daily Wire. Look what it did to Rowling.
That's a fair point. I like that. That's funny. But yeah, you're right. So anyway, back to this.
Creative project, I will never watch because I've seen what he does, and I would need to see a pattern, a genuine pattern of sincere change to prove that he is actually sincere and actually.
Shad, we all know you're going to see it anyway, because you have to grift about it. We know you're going to watch the fucking movie, because you have to make content about it. Because that's all you're good for. Making content.
Change his views on that. Because everything else just feels like lies just to, not bomb his projects. Because this Lord of the Rings thing, you think it's going to have any success with him on board? Like, no. Like, this thing is...
It might just turn everyone off to begin with. Like,
Let's take a listening real quick right now, shall we? I'm going to take a look real quick. Stephen Colbert is the top rated late night show. So despite being canceled near the end of its run, Stephen Colbert's late night show is the top late night show around, in a genre that's already shrinking. He is the top performing late night host. And you think his name doesn't carry with it attention? Also, let's be perfectly blunt, outside of America, not liking Trump is actually a benefit.
Super chatted $4.99. I meant to say the internet treats Shad like a locow these days. That's also kind of why he's losing followers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing that's funny is I get better views than Shad on the regular. Look at this. Look at Night's Watch here. It's not just Lit Devil that's dying in terms of his audience. Starfleet Academy, 1.6k views. Japan and America destroyed cultural appropriation, 13k views. This video, 2.6k views, 4.4k views, 14k views, 2.6k views, 8.3k views, 3.1k views. I'll be honest with you, it's actually funny. My most recent video in 3 days has gotten more views than everything Shad has done on Night's Watch combined this month. In 4 days, not even 4 days, 3.5, not even 3.5, more like 3 and 9 hours, has gotten more views than everything Shad has put out this month. Hell, it's shocking. It's shocking.
At Shadowlance 8212 super chatted $5. I fell asleep because drinkers takes made me feel drunk and I am allergic to alcohol. Now Shad is on the screen. What did I miss?
We went to Shadiversity talking about Brie Larson saving herself for Jesus, basically. But he's really just talking about Stephen Colbert. I thought it'd be more interesting so far. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. It's actually more interesting than I thought it was going to be, because he goes into some strange territory. Anyway, back to this.
Yeah, well, it's thrown me off completely with him on board. The guy is.
There's no way it's going to be non-biased, return to form, Lord of the Rings.
Exactly.
The star on is probably going to be Elon Musk or something.
Yep, 100%. And so this guy, I know this guy hates me, and so I would never.
Shad, a lot of people hate you. What's the difference? What does that change?
Not support now as a reviewer. It's my job to probably review it, and Gary will probably want me to do it with FNT, right? But that's not me supporting it. I will be like, all right, let's actually see, because Stephen Colbert, right? I don't think he's a writer, like a creative writer. I don't think he knows how to write spit, and so having him as like a.
Let's find out. Stephen Colbert. What books has he written? Other work. Here we go. Colbert is the co-author of the satirical text and picture novel Wingfield, the can do, the just might do and might not. Okay, it's a satirical novel from 2003. Hyperion Books. Wasn't covered in 2000. Filmography, here we go. Television roles. Published works. Here we go. Wingfield. The book America, Citizen's Guide to Democracy in Action. I'm American, So Can You. He's written a few books, actually. Most of these are just kind of nonfiction, which is fair. That's why I have a little trouble. That's one thing I'll give Shad. We don't know what Stephen Colbert's prose skills really are outside of a novel. However, we do know for a fact that he has an extensive experience with writing. He's helped write his show for years now. So he has some idea of pacing, he is familiar with Tolkien, and he is working with co-writers. So it's not just Colbert.
Primary, creative head of this project. No. Yeah, we'll see.
You think they would actually get a writer or something, or someone known for writing or adaptations, or even another director. Yeah, I'd be kind of cool if they, Steven, what's his name? Peter Jackson, Steven, whatever his name, Jackson.
You don't know who Peter Jackson is. You're talking about what will make a good Lord of the Rings adaptation, and you don't know Peter Jackson's name.
Yeah, with Tarantino, even like Tarantino, Lord of the Rings, that'd be kind of fun. But not Stephen Colbert. Like, why Colbert of all people? I think.
Let Dev. Did you say, with your full chest, that Tarantino should write Lord of the Rings? Are you fucking stupid?
At Shadowlance 8212 super chatted $5. Shad criticizing Colbert for his writing with how critically panned his book was feels tone deaf.
Oh yeah, no, I've read Shad's work. I don't really think he's the arbiter all that much of what quality fiction writing is. But, Litdev, did you honestly just say, with your full chest, that Tarantino should write a Lord of the Rings film? Like, on one hand, I'm morbidly curious to see what it would be like. But that is like the worst person to write a Lord of the Rings story. Specifically writing. Because Tarantino has a distinct voice. If you've seen one Tarantino film, you've heard them all in terms of the voice of the characters. Like, would it be wild? Sure. But he is not the right voice for Lord of the Rings. He wasn't the right voice for Star Trek either. He was going to fuck up Star Trek with his script. And they tried to get him to write a script for Star Trek. And that would have been terrible. Should have written Lord of the Rings. You fucking kidding me, man? That's so stupid.
It makes no sense.
Well, it seems like Brie Larson has seen the reactions. Like my reaction to Colbert.
Here we go. Let's get to this.
At Kate Cast Reviews super chatted $4.99. No matter what, Stephen Colbert took the opportunity to live every fan's dream.
Exactly.
After everything that's happened, I say good for him.
He had his entire career derailed because of political reasons, and now he's able to embrace what is his dream, to work in the universe he has academically studied. He was a consultant, by the way, for Peter Jackson on The Hobbit. He was an academic consultant for Peter Jackson. He already has worked on The Hobbit in that sense. He has had more involvement with this universe than Shad ever can dream of having.
At Zypher 8677 super chatted $2. Bring out the Numenorian bear.
Can you imagine? That'd be so freaking great. I would love that. Anyway, let's hear what he has to say with Brie Larson.
Bear, right? The guy hates me, so why would I ever want to watch anything he makes? Okay? It seems like Brie has noticed reactions like mine to people who are just show them who they really are. Now, Brie is an interesting case. I actually don't think she hates me, right? Like, her statements were divisive in the time, but compared to what others have said, like Rachel Zegler and stuff, they're nowhere near as bad.
So right there, again, there's the thing. Brie Larson was divisive, but she's not Rachel Zegler, who basically just said silly things that were mild by comparison to what the cracked guys were saying back in 2014.
At Shadowlance 8212 super chatted $10. Last super chat of the day. Tarantino making a Lord of the Rings film feels wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of his films have no hope.
Yep.
Lord of the Rings are built on hope. They are retellings of the Bible, for Pete's sake.
From a thematic deep level, you're 100% correct. Agreed with you entirely.
At WC Wit super chatted $2. Shad, you're not even American.
Exactly. Like, what does he fucking care about the fucking president for? You didn't vote for him. You live in Australia. Go scream about machete carrying laws already again, you know? Like, and here's the thing. Brie Larson has had a lot of statements about freaking Republicans.
At user underscore
but she's always been much more of a normal person.
CCC super chatted $1.99. Shad comes to NJ. Call us and we'll slide on the op.
On the oh, okay. Hang on. Okay, you said op. It made me think of something totally different. Totally random tangent right now. Have you all heard about the op block stuff going on right now? Drama YouTuber. I've referenced him a couple times in videos. I've spoken to him a couple times. He's going like through some controversy right now that's actually really funny. In a twisted kind of way.
At Maryland 614 super chatted $2. I don't think she hates me. Real high school vibes.
Yeah, no, exactly. Shad's like, I don't think Brie Larson hates me. Well, Brie Larson doesn't think of you. Yeah, no, I'm not going to go into the drama. No one knows who this guy is. I won't go into it. But it's like streamer was caught, among other things. There's a lot of things at once. He was caught, how do I phrase this in a way that's not too inappropriate, jorking it on stream. While streaming, he was jorking it. Apparently. While talking to, like, Discord kittens. Which is, as someone who talks a lot with his hands, right? Already, that seems like a restrictive manner. And the guy's also Italian. Any Italian who can't talk with his hands is already not really talking all that much. That's my perspective on it. No, on stream, on like YouTube stream, like live to hundreds of people at the same time. Fuck my hands. Hundreds of people at the same time. Apparently, I know. Goddammit Malcolm was telling me that the details. I saw like details of it from. I won't get into how I stumbled on this drama, but it's like, just and not like accidentally, not like DSP where he was like jorking it when not realizing the camera was on. Like, he was aware he was live. He was talking to chat and he was jorking it. Oh man. On YouTube, yeah. On YouTube. I don't want to listen. I don't celebrate anyone's misfortune. I'm not trying to heap anything on the guy, but like it's kind of funny. I think it's kind of funny a little bit. Oh my goodness. I think it's kind of funny. I don't know. I think it's kind of like ridiculous, like just purely ridiculous. No, I'm not pulling your legs. This is like, I reached out to goddamn Malcolm, who's been on stream before with us, because I was seeing stuff about OpBlock. Okay, so what happened was yesterday, Westside Tyler, who's been in chat before, he's a cool guy. He was talking about the Psy reaction video to me. And before talking about the Psy reaction video, talked about OpBlock. He found like a video of him, of Falgi, the guy, Falgi. You ever hear of Falgi? He's a drama YouTuber. That's OpBlock. Doing a debate thing for college. Actually, what's funny is in New Jersey College, which I actually had seen the rooms of. I was, anyway, that's not important. And so it got me down, like, why are you talking about Falgi? What's going on? He's just clowning on the guy. Was there something else going on? So I did a little digging, reached out to Malcolm, and he told me the whole thing. And there's more to it than that. There's a lot of personal things that he did to Malcolm specifically that were really, I think, underhanded and kind of sleazy. But apparently, Falgi from OpBlock was caught with his trousers down, in a very literal sense of the word. So it's one of those things. I saw Op and I thought of this whole thing. I wasn't gonna bring it up because it wasn't relevant to the stream, but I just thought it was a funny story. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not gonna do a drama thing on Falgi from OpBlock. Guys, they're more vindictive people who want to go at that, and I don't have a horse in the race, so I'm not gonna bother with that. But I just thought it was a funny story. Anyway, back to this.
That. That's what Ryan's like, right? She's like said, I don't need some white dude to tell me what they didn't like in some Time film that she made.
No, she didn't make it. It was A Wrinkle in Time. That was Ava. You know what? You know what movie it is. You know it's A Wrinkle in Time, some Time movie. You know what A Wrinkle in Time is. It's a pretty well-known fucking story. You guys were harping on Brie Larson for about 5 years straight. But, like, now that you're, like, kind of over it, you're like, oh, who cares? It's water under the bridge. No, you fucked around for 5 fucking years straight. Except the mud that's now sticking to your pants after rolling around in it.
All right. Did anyone watch that film?
I can't even jerk it on live anymore. I thought this was America. I love that. Yeah, no, it's A Wrinkle in Time, Chad. You know what it is. Don't fucking be disingenuous.
No one watched her. And so it was still a dumb thing to say, but it really felt like she was just pandering to the woke mob, thinking that would push her career further. Like,
it's been a lesson they haven't learned. Like, this is a lesson they should have learned years back, but they haven't learned for some reason. That the woke mob is very, very loud on social media, but is nowhere to be found when push comes to shove. And we see this with the Lesbian Night game. We're like, oh yeah, we want to support this game. This is completely resounding support from the woke people. Zero.
You do realize that Captain Marvel grossed over $1 billion, right? Maybe, if you think about it, Brie Larson saying in a speech to other critics that we need more diversity among critics is not about furthering her career, but about using a platform she already had to make change she thought was necessary. Because she already won a fucking Oscar at this point for Room. Like, you guys think that Brie Larson, when making that speech, was some unknown actress just starting off? No, she was already an Oscar winner. She won the statue. She was going to be in Marvel leading up to Avengers Endgame. Do you not understand the fact that her career was was going to a top already at that point? She didn't have to say anything to further her career. She'd done it. She did it. You know? Further her career. What do you think she was? Like just starting off like, oh yeah, no, when she's starting off, she was in fucking Scott Pilgrim, a movie that did flop, by the way, but has become a cultural landstone because of how popular it is in the cult scene.
At WC Wit super chatted $5. How many tangents are these two going to make about totally unrelated things? Vaccines, Colbert, some random indie game.
Well, you see, the thing is, when they have nothing to say, actually, everything's a tangent because they have nothing of tangibility to say or otherwise. Yeah, no, yeah, she was in Scott Pilgrim. She's fantastic in Scott Pilgrim. She had a whole song scene she did. Like, she already won an Oscar for a movie that, honestly, Room is genuinely a great movie. I think Room is fantastic. Room is a great movie. Deeply upsetting, but a great movie. So, like, these guys going like, oh, Brie Larson was just trying to get her career off. Like, what are you fucking talking about? Also, appealing to the wokes. That's funny. When Sydney Sweeney was doing it, you were praising Sydney Sweeney, and yet no one showed up to her movies. It's almost as if you piss off the woke crowd, you lose more.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99. I hope we don't ever see Anthony Grahorclea.
No, you don't have to worry about that. My parents taught me a very important lesson. It's a very vital lesson I want to impart on all of you as well. It's a lesson that will give you great success in your future. You ready for it? It's a very simple piece of advice. And it's not something you haven't heard before, but I think it's important to hear it again. Don't shit where you eat. Never shit where you eat. If you follow that rule, you'll be great. And when I say don't shit where you eat, I really mean don't do things that are inappropriate in your work environment. It's just a bad idea, and eventually will backfire on you. And don't take advantage of people who can be important to you in the future. It's a bad idea. Never do it, and eventually you might learn not to be a jackass to anyone else either, for that matter. It's a very vital lesson. I recommend all of you take it to heart if you want success in your future. Do not be an asshole in a professional setting. Don't goon while streaming unless you're profiting off of it. For example, Kinkymation, Lily Goth, has made a very successful career gooning over Marvel Rivals. I'm kidding, Lily. I'm sorry. Lily's great. I love Lily. She's awesome. No, Lily is great. I love Lily. That might be a mean joke because she's not inappropriate. She's Lily is extremely professional. Kinkymation, extremely professional person. Nothing but high praise from me. Hey Dan, what's going on? Extreme praise from me on Kinkymation. I feel it's unfair to even bring her up in comparison to this whole other drama going on because that's stupid as shit. Highly professional. Also knows the same lesson. Do not shit where you eat. Lily Goth, Kinkymation, fantastic channel. Watch it after this. She has some great stuff. She is very thirsty though on stream, but that's her market. That's her material that she puts out. So it's vital for her. Fauci, not so much. That was really stupid of Fauci to do that.
Hero monetary support from the book.
Bombed massively when it came out.
Awful.
Yeah, back, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know. My Brave browser just decided to take a big crap, so I'm back in my Japanese classroom.
Hey, well, we're talking about Brie Larson and that she might be on a redemption arc. And what I was just saying, I actually think Brie never was a huge ideological activist to begin with. She was just, I almost see her as kind of a bit of an empty vessel. Like most actors, I think, are empty vessels where they just imitate. They made.
Yes, Dan, you're right. Kinkymation has amazing perspective. By the way, Dan edited the recent Nazi video. So give everyone in chat, give Dan a round of applause for that. That was fantastic work. I love how when Shad's complimenting Brie Larson, it's like, oh yeah, she's just an empty vessel. She has no soul. Like, Brie Larson's all right. She has nothing inside of her. She's an empty husk of a human being who just says things to get ahead in her career. That is so fucking awful of a thing to say. Oh my god! And he's like, I think it's complimentary. It's not actually. You know, it's funny when you call an actor an empty husk of a person. That might actually be kind of terrible. I don't know. Just a thought. See, I have no issue clowning on any of these jackasses because they're stupid as shit. Let's keep going.
To pretend that's who they are, and they are willing to pretend in many ways to further their career because they want to perform and say the things. It's like they're actors, exactly. They want to say and perform and do the thing that people will like. And she got told a lie that people would like, and she saw other actors doing it. I really think because she has done other things that seem very contrary to what the woke progressive movement.
Okay, let's take a step right here. Shad is doing what we call making shit up as he goes. He says Brie Larson might have been told this, and then just keeps moving on as though that's actually what happened. Okay, let's base our conclusions on that nonsense.
And would push.
At Maryland 614 super chatted $2. Empty vessels. What does that say about you, Shad?
Exactly. Well, let's see what Chad says. Let's see what
right?
he's like.
And she's willing to pander and do things that reveal that, oh, you just want attention. That's really it is. You're an actress who wants attention to further her career. Yeah. And one of the things that really showed this to me is when on some of the YouTube videos she's done, she purposefully wears really tight clothing and
well, she's not hiding her cleavage here either.
No, well, she's done much more than this as well.
Oh yeah.
Right? where and one was just so.
Shad, do you mean the videos where she's playing Animal Crossing? Tight clothing. Do you mean she's just wearing clothing? Let's look at this for a second. Let's look at Brie Larson's YouTube channel. Is it still up? Let's find out. All right, still up. Excellent. Let's look at Brie Larson's channel right here. Oh, she was uploading this recently as like 3 months ago. That's neat. Let's look at these tight clothing Brie Larson wears right here.
Hello from my dressing room. I'm making this video.
Very tight clothing. Extremely revealing. I don't know why she can stand wearing that.
Oh, yes, YouTube! Welcome to my channel.
Extremely tight clothing, guys. Look at that. That's so... I'm offended. I'm frankly offended she wears anything that's scandalous right now. What, like this?
Hello, YouTube! Welcome to my channel. Today
Oh no! She wore a dress!
we have a very special
Or like a blouse.
Truth or Drink with my best friend, Jessie Ennis. Say hello. Hello, YouTube.
Oh no! A scandal! Who could imagine that? Oh, at the end of the videos, by the way. That's it. That's the whole thing. Where's a tight revealing outfit here? Was it this? Oh no! The sweater! It's so tight and revealing. Who could believe that? What's this? Okay, a workout outfit.
Hello, YouTube. I am here.
She's wearing a workout outfit. A normal workout outfit.
At Zypher 8677 super chatted $2. To be fair, Shad is Mormon.
Yeah, exactly. This is not tight, Chad. This is like fucking normal. Looking at all of these right now, even her workout outfit, she sometimes wears sweats, sometimes wears like a somewhat... Oh, here's her tightest outfit.
Welcome to my morning routine. Oh, I just fell asleep. I'm being quiet.
At Itsuboy 562 super chatted $3.14. Just got back from a shower. What's the updated lore with Brie Larson and the Grifters now?
Apparently, Shad thinks that Brie Larson wore revealing clothing on her YouTube channel.
Sus, we haven't even begun.
This is like a bathing suit. It's a normal outfit to wear. It's not revealing, and it's like halfway through the video. You have to get to the half of the video to find her wearing a normal one piece. This is bizarre. Shad, none of these outfits are reveal. What, this?
Hello, YouTube. This is the most professional.
Yeah, like what? Like a normal fucking workout outfit.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99. If Shad squats and coughs, Brie's foot falls out.
Exactly. Like, listen to how she describes it again. Here's how he describes, just remind you why I did that. Listen to how he describes all the outfits I just showed you.
And
well, she's not hiding her cleavage here either.
No, well, she's done much more than this as well.
Oh yeah.
Right? And one was just so shameless, where she's wearing these super tight pants and she tries to do the splits or something like that, and she purposefully positions her pose so her.
At Eshan especially 04181 super chatted $5. Shad projecting so damn hard about attention seeking earlier.
Exactly.
Ass is just directly right to the camera, and it's like, Brie,
as long as it's not her toes that we're seeing.
Like Brie, you'll be.
So that's the thing. We just went through a bunch of outfits. All of them look like normal fucking outfits a person wears.
At Eustace Giwo super chatted $5. Empty vessel? Desperate for attention? Methinks Shad doth protest too much. Thinking face.
Agreed. 100%.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $4.99. I'll say it. Shad puts his wife in AI generated images because he's upset she doesn't look like Brie Larson.
You might be onto something with that one, I'm not gonna lie.
Being very obvious with what you're doing there, Brie, and that really shows like, okay, like she wants attention. She's just an actress, and she's and
Shad.
At WC
Yeah,
Wit
she's an
super
actress.
chatted $2.
But also it's
to
rude what you're
quote
saying.
Persepolis, then stop staring at my ass.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Shad? Like, her outfits are normal. These are normal outfits women wear. They're just basic outfits. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, genuinely, what are you fucking talking about, Chad? These are normal fucking outfits, Chad. And even showing off her cleavage. She's wearing a dress with big poofy shoulders. It's not even showing off her cleavage. It just has cleavage. Like, it's not even a particularly revealing dress. It's a normal looking dress. Like, what are you talking about?
and this whole like, you know, male gaze bad, women shouldn't objectify feminist nonsense that you thought that she would have been fully on board with. She is very happy to appeal to the male gaze. If it
there's more money in the male gaze than there is in the they them gaze.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
guys, she's just okay, look at how she frames herself in these outfits, right? In these shots. These are full body shots, casual and relaxed.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99. Babe, can you put on the Captain Marvel suit tonight?
Exactly. Like, these are just normal, relaxed outfits with, like, buttons and outfit. She's cozy. Like, none of these are super sexual. What are you talking about, Shad?
At Arthur Clybourne writes super chatted $2. These are the most basic clothes I've ever seen.
Yeah, right? None of these are attention grabbing. They're just normal fucking clothes. Well, she wore shorts and, like, looks relaxed and, like, all posed. Like I do fucking, like, leg things like that. Where I'm like, oh, I can't even get in camera. Like, I'm folding up my legs like a freaking, like, pretzel right now. Like, I'm leaning my arm on it. Like, I do that all the time. Yeah, make sure I can get this position. Like, more like kind of like this, where I'm like, okay, not getting in camera here, but you get the idea. You know, like, is casually laying back, like a little, you know, like you have a chair that looks like the, you know, fucking whatever. You get the idea.
At Bernard_CK super chatted $5. For a married man, Shad sure loves to look at other women.
Yeah, I just don't understand what he's talking about. Like, it's a normal outfit. Like, what are you getting at, man? Like, calm down. You can't be that down bad.
So this is why I think like Brie, she was never really on board with this stuff. And
like, that sounds like such projection. Like, it really sounds delusional. Like, what are you talking about, Shad? You pervert? You know, what are you going off of? Like, oh no, Brie Larson wore 3 buttons undone. That means she wants me to stare at her cleavage. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
And I'm less critical of her.
Oh, man. Here we go.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99. I hope we don't ever see Aunt Scraw Moon Glia.
Yes, that's not likely going to happen. You're safe there.
Her than others, and now she's just trying to make fans happy. And I'm like, okay, there's something there. Like, listen to her here.
Hi, arigatou gozaimasu. It's Brie. I'm so pleased to be here. It's a dream of a lifetime to be in this film playing Rosalina. I love Nintendo.
That felt acted, but
she's not a great actress.
Oh, she's just introducing herself. I want to bring up something real quick too. This is an older article. So, this is an older story. Okay, here we go. And I know that oh, wow, okay. That's how bad this site is. Good old... Okay, let me find the source for this. Okay. Go away. Okay, excellent. So, I went on bounding onto comics for this, and the site immediately clicked off my antivirus thing. But actually, what's funny is, I don't have to go to their site. I can go right to YouTube for this one. So it's actually in this. So let me find which video it was. So apparently one of her videos, she says, back in 2000... Okay. Here we go. So, the first ever video posted on a YouTube channel. Okay.
Hi, I'm Brie Larson. Oh, God. Hi, I'm Brie Larson. I'm an actor. You might know me from Captain Marvel, or maybe you know me from nothing. Maybe.
Here we go. Right here.
Friends who didn't.
This is from 2020. Oh, we reached the cash goal. Oh, excellent. We reached the goal. Congratulations, guys. It's excellent news. So, this is from 2020, right here. Here's this.
Didn't like you playing video.
Oh my god, I definitely have that. I threw my first boyfriend out of my house because I was trying to beat the final level in Super Mario Galaxy. He said that I was taking it too seriously, so I threw him out of my house. Did you have any tech?
That was 6 years before today. 6 years ago. She has always been a Mario fan. She's not acting here. She just genuinely loves the character of Rosalina. She loves Mario. That's like Shad. She's not acting to appeal to fans. She's a fan. She's just a fan. She's just enthusiastic. She's not acting. She just fucking loves Mario. And like, this isn't a new thing. She's been talking about this for years. Yeah, this isn't Chris exactly Wave. This is not Chris Pratt going stomping on Koopas. No, Brie Larson, and I think the actors who I think are the most enthusiastic are fucking Jack Black. Obviously, he's freaking loves playing Bowser and everything. Brie Larson, Donald Glover, Not Glenn Howerton. What's his fucking name? Who plays Fox McCloud now? Not Glenn Howerton. I keep saying Glenn Howerton. And
At Jeff Pyatt
Charlie
2K4 super chatted $2. She played Mario Brothers on her Atari system.
Exactly. Glenn Powell. Thank you. Sorry.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99. Brie being so down to earth makes her even prettier.
No argument there.
At _Java_698 super chatted $5. Now I feel bad cause I think she got screwed over in the new Mario movie.
Yeah, no, I do too. She got no screen time. Brie Larson hopefully will have more of a role in the next one. I think she's fantastic as Rosalina, even though she only has like 10 minutes of screen time in the whole movie. But again,
yeah, she's not the whole. Dude, she's won an Academy Award, hasn't she? Like maybe she was just on the spot, but the whole that's like
Halle Berry won an Academy Award too. So let's just throw that whole thing.
Academy Award.
I love how like you go like, oh yeah, wasn't she like an Academy Award winning actress? And who cares? Not important. Like, okay, buddy, okay.
Well, that scale has slidden off the cliff.
Yeah. But she's trying to just appease fans and be grateful, and even if it feels and looks fake, at least she's just trying to.
Looks fake, huh? Looks fake, right?
And the volleyball.
We want to hear about that. If you can get that.
Trying to beat the final level in Super Mario Galaxy. He said that I was taking it too seriously, so I threw him out of my house. Did you have any?
Again, yeah, fake, totally fake. I guarantee. Looks very fake, Shad. All right, looks very fake, artificial, one might say. See Glenn Howerton. Listen, I want to see fucking Danny DeVito as Wario. If I get one thing, I want Danny DeVito as Wario. That is like my one casting wish. Danny DeVito, Wario, make it
At
happen.
Eustace Giwo super chatted $5. Shad, proof some guys can objectify women even if they're wearing a burlap sack.
Exactly, like she's just normal. She's just doing normal things. She's not trying. Oh, he was almost Luigi? That's great. I love that. He could have been a good Mario, I think.
Trying to pretend to be great. At least that's something. At least she's not saying, if you're a white dude, I don't care if you watch the film or not. It's like,
well, what happened to me, I mean, what happened with, in my view, is that she was severely humbled by the whole thing where everyone started hitting on her, and she's like, she learned the reality of the situation, and she was severely humbled by that after a while, despite, not openly admitting it. But ever since then, her behavior has been someone who has been humbled, like just uncertain.
Okay, Lit Devil, shut the fuck up. What you're doing is you're being very condescending to the actor who knows better than you do.
At Reven
Quite
Event
frankly.
300 super chatted $1.99. And I want Willem Dafoe as Waluigi.
Oh, that'd be great. You kidding? I would love that.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99. Nothing look faker than Shad's fitness, athleticism.
Exactly.
At Arthur Clybourne writes super chatted $5. She doesn't need to appease fans. These are the only clowns who have a problem with her.
Exactly. Everyone else respects her as a very accomplished actress. Brie Larson did fucking Elektra on stage in England. Now, granted, the movies are more financially successful, but if she's performing on the same stages as Ian McKellen, and she's not doing it for the money. You don't perform on stage for the money. You do it for the love of the game. This is someone who is extremely passionate about acting, about not just simply performing and being well known or selling a movie. It's the craft. You don't take the projects Brie Larson has been on if you're not enthusiastic about the craft of acting. Because she's done some roles where you look at this and go like, there is no way this is going to be a mainstream hit, but she does it anyway because it's a good role. We're talking about someone who cares about acting. She's not a super megastar. She's just fucking relaxing. And if you look at the videos that she does here, yeah, they are very perfectly orchestrated to be a certain style. Yeah. But it's just things she likes doing. It doesn't really feel like she's going off into tangents that are like a different sort of thing. And she did take a couple years off YouTube. Big deal there. But it's not like she's doing it to be... Oh, she did a Joshua Weissman video? Fucking can't stand Joshua Weissman. He sucks. That's funny. I'm gonna have to react to that later. Joshua Weissman's such an asshole. Anyway, back to this.
Just kind of do you want me back?
That clip was interesting. The one where they asked her if she's going to be Captain Marvel again. She's like, I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again? That actually was one of the few times I think we got to see the real Brie, when she's actually
the one of the few times. She just told you she threw a boyfriend out playing Super Mario Galaxy. For her playing Super Mario Galaxy. Anyway,
little insecure and I'm sure it's and that makes sense with her behavior generally, where she's an actress that wants to be liked and wants attention.
Man, chat, it's so
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99. Random, but free the brother Simu Liu in Shang-Chi.
Simu Liu needs more work, honestly. He was very overconfident on social media a little bit. And I feel like he made a lot of posts that got people pissed at him. But the guy is a talented actor, and I really want to see him in more stuff. He was a little cocky online, which I can respect. I can respect someone being cocky on the internet. That's totally fine. But the guy is a talented actor and he deserves more work. Fantastic there. Anyway, but yeah, no, everything Shad's saying, it's so weird. Brie Larson doesn't do Elektra on stage because she only thinks about mainstream performance, you know? Also, Shad, you do realize that Brie Larson's probably under NDAs, right? She probably can't talk about fucking Captain Marvel all that much.
And wants to be successful. And in that moment when it looked like her career could be, ruined by her activism, we got to see a little, perhaps behind the curtains, of the real Brie who was actually...
Again, Shad's making up an entire version of events that doesn't actually exist.
At user underscore
what are you talking
225
about?
underscore CCC super chatted $1.99. Joshua Weissman is Mr. Beast of food. Horrible dude.
And he really mistreats his staff. Really badly. He's terrible to his staff. There was that expose that happened a while back. He was very abusive to his staff. And that to me bothers me. You have to treat the people who help you out. You know, if they do something for you, you got to do something for them. It's only fair. And I'm anyone who has ever worked with me can assure you, I make sure they're taken care of. Whatever they need, I'll do it, you know? And I'm a much smaller channel than Joshua Weissman. You know, I'm very small compared to Joshua Weissman. He's a massive channel. And the fact is that he's making all this money and can't pay his staff properly, can't treat his staff properly. He has to make them feel uncomfortable and be verbally harassed on set. That to me bothers me a lot. Anyway.
A bit insecure, and she wasn't even sure if anyone liked her. I was like, do you want me back?
That's not what she's saying. She's just casually talking. And also, don't forget, under NDA, look at Andrew Garfield leading up to Spider-Man No Way Home. He denied up and down he was not in that movie. And he was. So she's not going to say anything because that's the way it is. The Marvel snipers will get her if she does.
At user underscore 225 underscore CCC super chatted $1.99. Shad's Brie Larson fiction is better than his book.
Yeah, basically. Isn't it funny how that works out?
At WC Wit super chatted $5. I once read the term vibes-based tulpa for the versions of celebrities people manufacture in their heads, and that is what's happening here.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's entirely a tulpa. He's taking a look at Brie Larson's YouTube channel and looking at Brie Larson briefly talking and going, this is the version of Brie Larson that I believe exists, and I'm going to wish it into reality. That's the reality that he's presenting.
And it's like, oh, there's a bit of honesty there. People appreciate honesty and actual real sincerity. I think she probably got more credit from that than I'm giving her for this. I think this one is actually a bit put on, but at least she's trying to just be grateful.
So much. I've been playing it my entire life, and so I'm so grateful to be here. Lots of love.
I mean, this comes with a job. She has to do media.
Yeah. And
that's it.
That's if it's sincere or not, maybe she is being sincere and just doing a poor job of, portraying it. That's a possibility, but this is what we take. This is what we want from actors. Actors, you play pretend, okay? Be grateful for what you got. You got a gig that many people.
At Arthur Clybourne writes super chatted $2. Slightly less popular Marvel is still Marvel.
Exactly. Agreed. Also, that's all that they said. That's all they said about Brie Larson. It's a 15-second clip.
At user underscore 225 underscore CCC super chatted $1.99. Ant versus Shad sword fight. Shad wheezes out in 20 seconds.
I haven't used swords in it. That the guy here is Lit Devil. It's Lit Devil. It's this guy. It's this guy. This guy right here is this guy right here. So if you've recognized him, that's where he comes from. A guy whose channel collapsed basically after I clowned on him. So I've actually clowned on 2 of the 3 guys in this thing regularly. And Mike S. Miller, I just, I clowned him on Twitter, but not really a whole video. Yeah. So you've seen him before. Again, it's the collection of people I've argued with online and I guess kind of won. I hate saying I won the argument. It sounds so egotistical, but it does feel like I won compared to them. Anything you say is wrong if they decide you're wrong. Yeah, exactly. The problem is he's just thank God Lit Devil moved it. No, so Lit Devil didn't have the flag. This guy had the flag. Mike S. Miller had the flag, who is Hawaiian, and I think has some connection there. But A Miller vid would be interesting. Miller is an interesting character, but it feels like I'd be punching down at that point. You know, like I feel like I'd be with Shad and Lit Devil. They had at the time more success than I did, so it was easier punching up. With Mike S. Miller, it feels like I'm punching down to an extent. No, O'Kelly, hell yeah, don't worry about remembering these guys. They're all losers, you know? You don't remember these. I'll remind you who they are. It's okay. You don't have to waste precious brain space on these guys. They're not worth it. But still. But yeah, no, it's interesting, I think. So to sum up, what we're seeing here is they are, for Milly Alcock, they're creating a fiction around her actively. And for Brie Larson, they're creating a fiction around her preemptively or post-mortem, I guess.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99.
That's
Shad
mean.
needs to sell his swords and buy Ozempic.
That's mean. I'm not going to say that. That's a mean thing to say. I'm not going to make fun of anyone's weight. But still, it's like... But still... They're creating fiction. They're crafting a narrative. None of this is based on reality. Not a single thing they said is based on reality. Yet, at the same time, that's what they're doing. They are crafting the narrative around it. Oh, man. But still. Yeah, there's not much to say here. It's a very vapid video. So what did we learn today? I think is a fair thing to say. I think one thing we did talk about that's relevant and important to note is that... Here we go. A little calming music here as we tune ourselves out. If we learned anything at all, it's simply this. The narratives around women actors is, fleeting, manipulative, highly selective, highly exploitative. They create narratives about things that are coming up and use old drama as a way to raise up new drama. It's not as bad as what was, because what was wasn't as bad as you thought it was.
At Itsuboy562 super chatted $3.14. For men who are clearly right-wing, they seem to really be against looking at women. IDK seems kinda gay to me, melting face.
Well, what's more gay? Hating all women or wanting to look at men's bodies more? Big, muscular, chiseled bodies, no less. I don't know. A lot of right-wing talking points sound very homoerotic. Well, I hope you all had a great Taco Tuesday as we saw the big taco in the sky taco it all out, waffling back and forth with some tacos. And we saw the tacoing with Brie Larson, going back on their word with Brie. And we saw Shad and Critical Drinker and Quartering all prove they have no idea how any of this acting or cinematic Hollywood thing works. In short, they all prove either that they are complete morons and that we should not take them seriously. But we should always critique them. Never give up on that. Because the reality simply is, if you let your foot up even a little, that's how they get back up and cause harassment campaigns. So Friday's video is going to be coming soon. I believe it should be ready. It's one of two things. It's been in the works, apparently, for this whole time. Is it in? It's not in yet. It's not in yet. Okay. Worst case, we got something else for you. Because finally, it's either going to be the Black Suit video, the Black Suit Spider-Man video, or, eventually, my Zardoz vid. Which, by the way, is almost out of copyright hell. So, thank you everyone so much for watching. I look forward to hearing from all of you in my next video. I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.